One, two, and
All right.
Okay, let's
come
go.
on, coming to you live in the living room. We're gonna do this raw and uncut new show on YouTube. Hope you wow. We're gonna be talking about different topics. Today, we're gonna be going over relationships in the Dominican Republic. Every place does something different, but here we're gonna go all the way in because there's a lot of questions as an American, right? I need to find out. I'm new to dating scene, right? At least for here. I find a couple of things that are weird and I don't understand. So I brought both my boys over here. We're gonna have conversations and we're gonna figure out some stuff. So, everybody introduce yourself. My name is Jamie Robledo. I live in Santo Domingo. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, so take it off.
My name is Joel. I live in Santo Domingo too.
Hello, guys. Hello, people. My name is Steven de los Santos. I'm from Dominican Republic, and I live here in Santo Domingo. And I need to improve a lot my English, so I'm sorry.
No, es que nosotros vamos a hablar inglés, español, lo que It doesn't even matter.
Well, I'm strictly travel. Well, my name is Emilio CS. Go by, strictly travel. And originally from the Congo. Lived in the US for quite over 15 years. Then moved across the globe from the Middle East to, Middle East. I live in Europe, Canada, United States, Africa. So, yeah. So, let's see.
So, I mean, the first question, and I know we've had a few questions about this already, but the first question that came up, at least for me, was how do Americans and Dominicans typically approach dating? Now, we're just gonna go around the table counterclockwise, and then we'll just have the quick conversation. Hold on, let me see the videos. Perfect. Why is it? You're live though, right?
Yeah, I'm live, yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Pero ¿y qué carajo?
¿Qué te dice el mensaje?
Oh, de que está full. Enable optimization storage. Enable offloading apps. Vamos a ver. Because I already did it.
One of the free questions.
I know, right? Oh, it's definitely not happening. We're just gonna leave it live.
Oh, okay.
We'll just leave it live on you both for the pre-recording.
Okay.
I'll leave it like that, and then we'll get the camera later on. So, how do you feel like dating is being approached as a Dominican? Like in this day and age, not before when you were growing up, but now. Like, how do you feel dating is on a daily basis? Like when you go to look for someone to date, what is it you look for? And you know what? Don't worry about talking in English or Spanish, whatever you feel comfortable. If you feel like talking in Spanish, the viewers are listening, they need to listen. So talk in Spanish.
Ok, mejor todavía. No, pero hay que ser real. Lo primero que usted ve en una persona es el físico. Si una persona la atrae, ya sea para cada quien individual, no sé, en mi caso por lo menos, a mí lo que me atrae más de una mujer, inmediatamente, ¿qué es lo que son? Realmente, sus pechos. Eso es lo que yo veo, porque ya lo que más son es el trasero y eso, ya se puede trabajar, no hay ningún problema.
Right.
Pero eso es lo que yo veo.
Everybody's different. There's nothing wrong with that. Listen,
Yeah.
it's different for everybody, right? For me, like I need the Coca-Cola bottle. That's what I need. I don't need big titties. I need slim titties, but I need that I need the gulazo. Like I need that joint. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. But so physically, right?
Yeah.
When you look at that, that's what you like. So when you go to typically date a Dominican woman who looks that way, are you looking for something serious, or are you looking for something to pass the time, just to date?
Ahí depende ya. ¿Por qué? Porque incluso si tú te la acercas a ella, te imaginamos con la intención de simplemente ser algo casual. según ya sea cómo ella se comporta, su forma de hablar y todo eso, en ese momento, en ese día, tú decís, ok, mira, esta chica ya tú puedes tomarla para algo un poco más serio o ya no califica para ser casual. Ahora, ¿cuáles son esos requisitos? Ya se puede variar de persona en persona. Por ejemplo, en mi caso, a mí me gustaría ya que sea una persona con la que tú puedas por lo menos mantener una conversación sobre algo. Por ejemplo, un caso sería que pasa ahora con muchos jóvenes. Yo no puedo mantener una conversación con cualquiera, porque si yo te empiezo a hablar, por ejemplo, con algo sumamente básico, que miramos algo un poquito de política,
Sí.
que estamos entrando casi en campaña, ya. Si yo me le acerco, no sé, a una chica, a una amiga, quien sea, fácilmente no me sabe decir lo que se ve mucho en la farándula, en el medio, ya sea escuchando los foques, etcétera. Pero si nos vamos un poquito más profundo, incluso buscando sus propias opiniones, no saben ni siquiera formarla, porque no la tienen. Entonces, ya si tú conoces a una chica que sí la tiene, no tiene ningún problema en responderte eso, incluso te hace preguntas que hasta tú mismo te quedas dudoso, ella se convierte en una persona ya con la que tú sí quieres mantener una relación.
Okay, so are you dating right now? You single?
No,
You
I'm
with
single.
someone? Hmm?
Sí.
Single.
Estamos
Single, you're
solos.
single, okay, okay.
Estamos solos.
So now so ladies, if you see a guy like this, you want to get his number, talk to this guy. He's gonna get the digits and get it in. All right, so I'm gonna propose the question to you as well. How do you feel about dating, approaching women in general? What is it you like? What is it you prefer?
Well, we're talking about like the difference between American people and Dominican, right?
Right, so the question is, how do Americans and Dominicans typically approach dating, right? So the question, because you guys are Dominican, how do you guys approach dating? So when you go to look for women, what do you look for physically? And then what are the other attributes that you're looking for to date a woman, whether it's, to date her, to find out if she's gonna be something for the long term, for serious, for marriage, or you just wanna date her because you just find her cute and you just wanna pass the time?
Well, that's the point. If I'm
No,
looking
habla
for
en
something
español.
serious,
Dime
okay.
en español.
Eso va a depender.
Ajá.
Si busco algo serio, busco una mujer que tenga una capacidad mental diferente a las demás.
Okay.
Okay.
Porque al final el físico muere tarde o temprano. Si yo quiero algo a largo plazo con una mujer que realmente me guste, tiene que atraerme mentalmente.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay.
Well-
Because there's someone that's saying that, they want you to translate in Spanish what it's pretty much saying in, the same, what he was saying,
Oh.
in English, yeah, because, yeah.
So what both of the guys are saying is that, physical is one component that they do look at, but everybody has their own taste, right? So like, pero physical.
Sí,
¿Cómo te gusta la mujer?
Física, con buenas tetas, buen culo.
So he wants the Coca-Cola bottle effect too, with the big joints and the big joints, right? He just wants top, big, low on the bottom. But what they're looking for, if it's going, they're posing both questions. So if it's going to be something serious, then she has to have qualities that are important, right? Vice versa. He said the same thing. But also, like, there are women who probably don't want something serious, and they just want to date, they're young, just want to have fun, and just pass the time and that's it. Okay. So, for me, now this is gonna open up a can of worms, I'm telling you right now. So for me, I don't know, I find it, so when I first moved to this country last year, I found it so difficult. I'm like, are you for real?
Really?
Like, insane. Like, I couldn't believe it. So my encounters, and ultimately, I want to get married, right? Eventually, I want to get married to someone who has great qualities, physically, like, I mean, I wake up like, so she needs to look good too. So we can scratch that out. But when it comes to like physical, she gotta be smoking hot on the bottom, you know, not BBL'd up, but she gotta look right, natural. And on the top, like, it depends. Like, I gotta look at other things too.
You know, there's a question that came up.
Go.
How do they feel about dating women with children?
We're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that, we're gonna get to that.
Those are one of the questions, yeah.
It's coming, Douglas. We're gonna get to that.
So, when it comes to a woman who I'm gonna date for long term, where it's gonna be something serious, I find that she needs to have great qualities. First of all, you need to be honest, right? You need to be caring, understanding, like all the great qualities that make a woman a wife. Now, there's a difference between dating somebody just to have fun and then dating someone for the longevity. I'm looking for longevity. But let me just keep it a buck with you guys. I'm not looking for an American. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. For me, in my situation, because everyone's different, I haven't had the greatest luck, right? I was in a relationship for 25 years, and I'm sorry, but it was hell. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, you know? A lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, and I'll be honest, over nothing. Like, if I didn't do the dishes, oh my goodness, crazy. I don't wanna do that no more. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't about that, but it was just so many things that escalated to a situation where it was just very unhealthy mentally, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And I said, you know what, I'm not doing this. But for something serious, she has to have awesome quality. The woman gotta know church. If you don't know God, I'm sorry, we can't be together. Like, you gotta at least believe that Jesus is the Messiah. That's what the Bible says.
That's very important. Yeah.
Because, like, I can't sit down and have a belief, and then the woman does not have the same belief. Picture me being with a woman, and she's an atheist, and I'm telling her I'm Christian. And it's not functional.
No, it's not
They
gonna
can't
work.
afford mine.
It's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work. So for me, that's typically what I'm looking for. That's what I like. There are other questions we're gonna get to. We got 10 questions, and after that, if there are any other questions that you guys want to throw in, just throw in. But that is one we're gonna talk about. We are definitely gonna talk about children. So, hey, tell me about how do you feel when it comes to, and don't get it twisted, like, we're gonna go into more stories, we're gonna talk about, like, situations, which is really, really important so that you guys know, like, when you're physically here, like, what really happens, because, you know, you find people who are on Tinder, getting home, they're sending messages, and then all of a sudden, they come here and it's something totally different, and you're like, it's a culture shock, and you're like, are you for real? No, this cannot be happening. And we're gonna get into those things. But tell me about yourself.
Well,
Physical, right? Are we looking for something serious or not? And then on top of that, what did you look for in a woman?
well, initially, it's the physical part. You know, she has to have all the attributes, you know, that you, like I said, you know, I'm from Africa, you know, so we like meat, you know, so she has to have the boobs and, you know, she has the tits and, you know, she has to have that curve, you know. That's, you know, the first thing, you know, and then after that, you know, I look at the mental part. I mean, you have to see at least, like I said, you know, she has to have at the minimum of substance. She has to have a minimum level of education where I know we can actually grow together.
Agree. But what does that mean for you? Like, okay, she needs to have education.
Yeah.
What type of education? Because, like, for me, like, I can't date a dumb woman. If you're dumb, like, if you didn't even, like, finish college, like, I don't even know. If it's something serious, no, I'm not. No, thank you.
No, I mean,
For you, what does that mean for you?
no, because I want to be able to have a meaningful conversation. Because here's the thing: after you bang, then you look at each other and there's no more conversation. Like, okay, well, you know, you look at her like, okay, what's next?
Right.
If the only thing you have to offer is that part, then it gets old after a while. You know, I need to be able to have like a meaningful conversation. Because to me, like I said, like you said, I mean, the woman is dumb. I just can't deal with it.
Yeah, needs to be substance there. Right?
Small example, like I saw this girl, very attractive, you know. She has all the attributes. But imagine she sent me a text in Spanish, and I was able to correct what she was writing in Spanish while being a first language. Think about it.
I do that.
You're gonna write it like Yamame with Y-A-M-A-M-E. I'm like, I said, hold on.
Yeah.
You said, voy por allá, you take a voy with B, like be like boy. I'm like, hold on. There's a problem. No, there's a problem. I mean, you know, I'm not supposed to be correcting you in your own language. You're supposed to be correcting me.
Right.
You know, so to me, that's a no-no.
Listen, my Spanish is okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. It's
When you have to correct someone, the first thing is Spanish.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, to me, I'm like,
in their own native tongue, yeah. So
we can't. We just can't continue. We can't go to the next level. You know.
I agree.
When I saw that, I was like, you know what? Sorry. You just.
But okay, so but I'm gonna pose the questions like I pose questions to the
Sure.
guys. Physically, what is it you look for when you initially think about dating a woman? Like, are you looking for like big on top, low on the bottom, big top and bottom?
No. She has to be small on the bottom.
Right.
I mean, small on top and big on the bottom. I'm not really into.
Natural or BBL?
No. It has to be natural.
I gotta ask you guys.
No.
We gotta
She has to be
get into
natural.
that. Like,
I'm,
we're gonna go the way.
no. I'm not into BBL stuff. No, I'm just not into. It has to be natural. It has to be like, you know, when you feel it, it's like, it's real. You know.
It's real.
Yeah.
I'm not going to feel like you
No
have like
plastic.
two plastic things, you know. I'm not into that. She has to be natural. I mean, 100% natural.
100%.
You know, 100% natural. You know.
That's
I'm not doing that fake stuff. I just can't deal with it. I just can't, you know, no.
okay. So the physical part, mental part,
And spiritual is very important.
no, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, she has to, like I said, she has to believe in God. You know.
100%.
And luckily, in this part of the world, the majority
you want
of
somebody coming in with a sign?
the majority of women, you know, luckily, at least they have that. That those minimum belief, you know. That's what I like about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, so let's say she has all that. Now, when she has those pieces, is it for you to, and you didn't answer the question either. You single?
If I'm single,
Yeah, you're single.
well, I'm in a very complicated situation.
Okay, we'll leave it like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Very complicated.
And we're,
Marisa was-
and we're not gonna go further than that. We'll just leave it like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
complicated, right? You guys are both single, right? So single, like so single, so single. All right, so and then so let's say she has those attributes. Are you looking to date her to see how it goes? Or are you looking to date her with the intent to be like, no, she has those things. I want to find something serious so that I can find a wife.
But here's the thing: when I was younger, when I first came in, initially when I first came was 20 years ago, and then I felt like I was in the candy store. I didn't know what to pick. But then I made the mistake to pretty much go with the first thing that I've met. And I realized I wasn't ready. You know, I was, listen, so came in August.
And this is somebody that told me this, so you did not you didn't soil your royal oats or anything like that?
None of that, bro. The first person I met is the first person I met at the time. So within 2 months, I was married.
No way.
And let me see what the problem with that
Hold
is.
on, married, like paper married?
Paper!
Okay, here in this country.
In this country.
Okay, were you in a...
I came in October 2004. I was, can you believe that? And didn't even speak the language. So it was sign language.
No.
He was like, you know,
Today, you and me.
exactly, he was like, you know,
You was too close to.
you know. And then, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. Here's the problem about this. Like I didn't speak the language. I was busy trying to understand her or understand each other, not knowing her. By the time I knew her, she was pregnant.
Did you understand the dating culture here when you first met her?
I have no clue.
Okay.
But let me tell you how I arrived in the DR. I was in Switzerland in 2001. I went to a place, my friend is Michael from Chicago. He went out and went to Pizza Hut. There he met a Dominican guy, he was actually the manager of Pizza Hut. Then he invited us to a club called Acito. It was a Dominican club. I arrived there, I'm like, damn, even the guy with one eye had a fine woman. I'm like, you know what? One day I'm going there because I was like, it's impossible. Like this doesn't make any sense, you know. I thought I was buff, you know, was working out, you know. So I arrived there, you know. Then I was dancing. I didn't even know how to dance bachata. I didn't even speak the language. So they have this girl. She was actually, when I was I remember I had a blue shirt. She was with my shirt, Next thing I know, I'm just in the front with no shirt on, just I'm one girl here, one girl there. I just arrived in the club. I'm like, dang, I love this culture. And remember the time it was, when they listened to bachata, they were playing that song "Me Quiero Morir" by Antonio Santos, and they were singing all that, with all those feelings. I was like, dang, one day I must go to the source where those beauties are coming from. I was coming from the States, In the States, you go to a club, you have like 100 women, maybe 3 or 4 of them are fine, unless you go to Miami. But I used to live in DC. Bro, there's nothing there, You have all those overweight women, and they're the one that actually looking at you, Then you have to pick and choose, So I'm like, okay. They went back to the States. I used to work for Norton Network at the time. Got laid off. I'm like, you know what? 2003, December. I'm like, okay. I tried to find a job. I couldn't find one. You know what? It's time to go to the DR. In August 2004, arrived to the DR. Then I called my boy. I'm like, guess where I am? I'm in the DR. I'm in the Dominican Republic. He said, what? You there? He said, I'm coming too. And he came. So pretty much continue where we started. But that was really a dating, ready to get I was actually, when he came, I was married already. I said, damn, how is that possible? But he was smarter than I. He was dating everything that could come, that he could find. But in my case, while being married, I was doing the same thing because I was like, what, I'm sorry, I have to try, and then, so I was going around, and that's pretty much what cost my marriage. That's why now, yeah, because
So you were one of the ones who you were doing the dirt.
No, I was in the dirt. I couldn't help it. Listen. One day I went to the airport to drop a friend off. I met those girls. They were stranded. They were going to Switzerland, and their flight was delayed. They didn't know what was going to be the next one. I'm like, well, I them out to apartment. I'm like, well, I was getting a new apartment. It was furnished. It was missing details. I'm like, I said, shit, let's go there. I said, I got to prove you guys can stay. There was 3 of them. He said, I want to drop a friend at the airport. Then they come home, and 2 days later, I just caught up with this girl from Santiago. I mean, beautiful. I'm like, wow. Then I start thinking, I'm like, why did I get married? Why did I do that? I felt like I wasn't ready. I'm like, I just got it. Even though I've got a time watch, she's a pretty lady, but I just wasn't ready. I had to explore. So I was exploring. So the first 4 years of my marriage was just difficult. I was exploring everything, and I just didn't care. Because you lose one, you find another one. You lose one, you find another one. So you don't miss that because it's a constant thing, I wasn't missing anything, That was okay. Then it went on. And after 4 years, decided to move to Chile.
That's a nice country.
I spent 5 years in Chile. But Chile, they're pretty, but they don't have those attributes, you know what I mean? And they don't have the Caribbean vibe.
When you say attributes, what is it?
They don't have the Coca-Cola type body, where it's on the bottom, they're like pretty fists, but they're like flat,
But that's what they like. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Like, yeah.
Oh, you love it there. You love
Yeah.
it. You there? Oh, you go crazy. Both of you? You go crazy. And guess what? The good thing about Chile? You don't need to have money. You meet the girl in the bus and you start dating her. You say, wait, dating, let's go for a picnic. Yeah, bro.
No, way.
Yeah, go to a picnic. First in the picnic. Or if you go on a date, she said, well, I pay half, you pay half. She paid for what she consumed. Yeah, that's the Chilean culture. So you don't have to worry about him, like, you know. It's a whole different story. You gotta have the balls to be able to go. No. Listen, I was driving on Maserati. It didn't, in Chile, it didn't bring me more women than, no, they don't care about that. They just don't. They just don't, you know. So in Chile, I was quiet because I wasn't really, so I'm like, damn, I'm healed. Damn, that thing about that womanizer thing, it's gone. So I was happy. You know, so, you know, I was a home guy going, was work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home, work, home. Then, 2014, after I was working, I was teaching. I was a professor at the university at nighttime, and during the daytime I was a teacher in a high school. So I was teaching TOEFL, and I was teaching ACT, all those standardized tests, you know, to help them be admitted to the United States for college, for master. So, you know, then I'm like, you know what? I mean, the job was very nice because, you know, you have a chance to meet lots of people, but it wasn't it. You know, then I met this guy. They started doing some other business. Then he started to travel. Then I went to the Congo. I went to the Congo. I'm like, you know what?
That's it.
Nah. My demons came back. My demons came back. They started the whole thing. I'm like, okay, no, the problem is Chile. Then came back to Chile. Then after that, traveled again. Went to Dubai. When I arrived in Dubai, Dubai is Las Vegas on steroid. Meaning, you have so many pretty women everywhere. Then forget about it. And I lost myself. I forgot that I was married. I lost. Listen. See the whole Soviet Union, the ex-Soviet Union. I have sent all the whole Soviet Union. Belarus, you know, country only saw the map. Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, all those countries. I mean, I was like, you know, Ossetia, you know, and I just went crazy. I even didn't even go from Iran.
Si respiraba era mujer.
You know, it was crazy. I mean, if you just look at me, wait, I'm like, oh, it's over. You were going, I mean, butcher, you know, the butcher shop, you know. That was, you know.
Hold on, but with all this fight, like, be honest, like, are you looking for something serious now, or you still feel like
No, now.
you want to dibble and dabble still? Because you look like you got that animal.
Now I'm dating this beautiful, you know, you met her. You know, she's nice. You know, we have our differences, but you know, overall, she fit the profile that I'm looking for.
Criteria, right?
The criteria, because I mean, you get tired after a while. You know,
Right.
listen, I've tried everything, all natural. Then you reach a point where, like, you know what, it's time to kind of settle because I don't want to because the reason my marriage fell is not because of my ex, is because of me.
What you did, right?
Because what I did, you know, I did so much dirt, and when I look back, I'm like, wow, it doesn't make any sense because I'm like, but I mean, I'm like, but I don't regret it, but at the same time, I do. It could have been something, but I just couldn't keep my pants down. It was just, you know, I mean, to me, I see a woman was just like, you know, and that's the thing, you know, so. Put this, I could go to my impulses. Then, you know, then it ended up to a failed marriage. I already, yes. But then I'm like, sometimes like, you know what? You only live once.
Yeah.
It's part of the experience. I mean, the man that I am right now was based on all those failure and, you know, those failure and all those success as well, you know. So it's a balance because you'd be surprised. You have people been there for like 20, 25 years. And they're not happy. They become complacent. And lots of them, they stick there because of moral values, sometimes religious values. They're like, you know what? When you get married, it's for better, for worse, and this and that. To me, I was like, I said those vows, but to me, I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even know what I was saying. To me, I was like, well, you know. And when I first got married also, because it was based on pressure, because my ex came from, she was evangelical, traditional family, so she wanted, you know, she wants something stable and steady instead of, you know.
Hold on. Did you guys ever get pressured? Or did you ever almost wind up getting married? Or have you guys ever been married?
No. Yo nunca he estado casado.
You never been
No,
married?
no.
Okay, I'll ask them a few.
Como si ese el año que me quiere hacer.
Bueno, let me just say
Ahora,
something. I got married in my 20s.
Tiene que explicárselo al público eso, de que en este país estar en una relación, vivir juntos, ya están casados prácticamente.
Well, Douglas,
That,
yeah,
that is true. Like
Yeah,
when
look,
you,
see.
What he's saying.
when you no afterwards. When you get, just mark it down. When you get with someone here, like in like the culture here is more like y'all living together, y'all married.
Yeah.
You know, US is different. Like
You know, paper, what?
us, we want to deal with the paper. You know, and when you get married here on paper, it's different from US, right? So here, there's no alimony. They don't take half your paycheck. You know what I'm saying? They don't rob you of your manhood
It's
and
better.
take your money. So, you know, there are differences, right? Which one would you choose? That's the thing you gotta pose to yourself. Now, you know, and the question came up, and actually is the next question.
Okay.
Would you date a woman who has children? And why?
Yo sé cómo que quiero entender primero,
Ajá.
porque me perdí un chiste. Pero,
Si tú vas a salir con una mujer que tiene muchachos, ¿y por qué?
en primer lugar, hay un debe muy grande ahí. Porque, antes de responder la pregunta, es con las mujeres. Porque, por ejemplo, yo no estoy dando con las mujeres con hijos, que es lo primero, para dejarlo en situación, dejarlo claro. Yo no sé lo que es eso, lo que es tener muchachos, ni tener niños, ni nada. Pero, lo que sí he visto que critican mucho, ¿verdad? Es que, por ejemplo, tú eres padrastro, y estás ahí, tú eres, como se dice, el hombre de la casa, ¿no? El señor diario, el tomo. Entonces, se supone que tú, como mínimo, ¿verdad? Al tú ser la figura paterna que esos niños están teniendo ahora mismo, tú deberías tener, aparte de las responsabilidades, ciertos derechos sobre esos niños, ¿verdad? Entonces, hay madres, para no decir todas, porque, repito, desconozco la situación como es, que solamente te quieren dar responsabilidades, pero no derechos sobre ese niño, ya sea en su crianza o elección X sobre qué hacer con el niño. Yo he visto que, bueno, sí, etcétera.
Pero
Eso
nunca ha
sobre
pasado
eso.
con usted.
No, en mi caso personal, aunque mis padres se separaron, sus parejas, tanto de mi madre como de mi padre, siempre fueron muy respetuosos con uno, en esa parte. Siempre fueron bien con uno, nunca se pasaron por nada, siempre estuvieron ahí, se portaron bien, nunca tuvimos ningún tipo de problema. Por lo menos eso yo visualicé.
Ok. Me va a gustar.
En mi caso no. Aquí hay un dicho que dicen que si te come la gallina, te come los pollitos. Es decir, que si te pones con una mujer que tiene hijos, tiene que proveerle a ellos también. Tiene que encargarte de ellos. Y como él comentó, o sea, tú te encargas de ellos, tú te encariñas, pero tú no tienes derecho de ellos. Si ella quiere largarse hoy y irse con otro hombre, se va. Y tú no puedes decirle, no, déjame a los muchachos. A pesar de que te encariñaste, ya tú lo perdiste todo ahí.
Exactamente. Solo responsabilidades y ningún derecho.
Yo no saldría con una mujer con niños.
Yeah, no. And then, and just to reiterate, you guys, they're both saying that, you know, you want to get attached, you have a relationship with the mother, you know, you're the man of the house, even though the child does not belong to you. And let's say if you're trying to discipline the child in a functional manner, right? You're maybe saying something so that they can understand what to do and what not to do. You have all the rights to the house, but you don't have no right to say nothing to the kid. That's just the culture in general. So those are just some things that you may want to understand when you date a woman who does have children. So, okay, so you guys never dated a woman with children. Would you date a woman with children? No, not be out there.
No, que yo no soporto a los niños.
Yes.
Que mucho menos si no
They're
soporto.
not gonna pay.
No, no.
So, that's just it for them.
Aparte que, vaya,
Ajá, sí.
hay otro problema también ahí. Yo debe haber un caso, no sé si es real, confirmé en el chat, que básicamente en este caso era al revés, era un hombre con hijos y era una mujer. El problema vino cuando él no ganaba como lo suficiente, básicamente el Estado le daba ayuda para llevar los niños, pero la mujer sí ganaba bastante dinero, como 5 veces más que él. El punto es que como que estaban casados por papeles, si le contaba como su unión, entonces la ayuda que recibía, básicamente la dejó de recibir, porque su salario contaba como un solo. Y ella se casó solamente con él y no quiso nada que ver con los niños. Entonces, cuando llegó el momento de que ellos crecieron, tuvieron que ir a la escuela, ahí ya empezaron a sufrir ciertas dificultades y no podía enviar a sus niños a la escuela. Y exactamente. Entonces pasan cosas como esa, de que usted va, que no, son muchas cosas a tener en cuenta antes de tú
Sí, pero
entrar en esa relación.
ese caso es muy especial. Yo creo que es algo que pasa muy común. Que la mujer esté con un hombre con hijos y que ella gane 5 veces más que él. Eso como que son casos especiales. No sé qué opinan ustedes.
No,
¿Qué tanto ustedes ven eso?
Porque en este caso era como 5
Que la mujer gana más que el hombre.
5 veces y que, o sea, el hombre,
5 veces.
y que el hombre que tiene
Bueno.
los hijos, o sea, el hombre que tiene los hijos ya no tiene hijos y él que tiene los hijos
Gana menos.
Sí,
y él gana menos.
Pero él dijo que al principio.
Mira,
I don't know.
I was lucky. He was a lucky guy. Yeah, because that's hard.
It is hard, but every situation is different, right? So if my woman gets paid more than me, which is what the guys are talking about, right? I don't mind.
I don't care either.
I'm not gonna feel like weird or like I feel like you said, like less than because she's making more than me. Like I'm gonna.
Por ejemplo, en este caso, ella, como te repito, no quería nada que ver con los niños. Ella nunca se metió que sí. Porque el dinero, ella dice que el dinero de ella era para ella. Y es verdad, está bien. Ahora, pero si tú te vas a comprometer con una persona y tú sabes que esos niños ya están ahí, porque tú lo sabías antes de estar con ella. Bueno, por lo mínimo me enseñó eso, porque si era un secreto, bueno. Si algo así sucede, porque incluso, aunque no ganara 5 veces más, con el simple hecho de que tuvieran un monto más o menos equivalente y ya no pudieran recibir ningún tipo de ayuda, sigue habiendo un problema. Porque al final iba a tener que separarse porque los niños
Pero
tienen que...
5 veces más, dame un ejemplo cuánto
Bueno,
tú vas a ganar y ella va a ganar.
Bueno,
¿Right?
exacto, porque digamos que no se trata de
Porque
tanto
5
dinero.
veces más, chacho, ese pide cuánto.
Sí,
Porque
te
si
digo,
quieres.
porque recuerdo que él era como mecánico y ella era CEO de algo ahí.
Ah,
Era
ok.
CEO.
Okay.
Ella era CEO. Entonces, ¿sabes? Me mente, ok, tipo el mecánico y es una CEO y no sé cómo se conocieron, pero bueno. Porque digamos, no sé, él anual hace...
Digamos, él ganaba $1,000 y ella 5,000. Sí.
Okay. So
Oh, no se escucha, no se escucha.
they're saying that
They couldn't hear. No se escucha.
they're saying that she makes like $5,000 a month and he's doing like $1,000 a month. She works in some sort of office and he's a mechanic. You know, in those type of situations for everyone is different. You know, I don't care if the woman make more than me. I don't know if any woman can make more than me in this country, so it's not gonna happen. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is that to each his own. For me, I don't care. Si tú vas a ganar más que yo, like, para mí no importa eso. ¿Tú sabes por qué? It's how you treat me and how we are together in a serious relationship. For me. Maybe she might feel high and mighty, she may leave later on, but for me, that's just how I feel. Because what if it's hard for her to date somebody because she makes a lot of money? Then what's gonna happen? Then it's gonna be what? She'll never find a boyfriend or a husband. I find that awkward, right? I don't know. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I give everybody a chance. So if a woman says, "Oh, you know, I find you attractive," like we should go out sometime and she make more than me, okay. I'm not gonna be like that's like a sugar daddy or something like that, a sugar baby where she's gonna be paying for everything because I know how to hold my own weight. But I don't know. I'm not gonna feel uncomfortable if she makes more.
Sabe que hay muchos hombres que se sienten inferiores.
Intimidado.
Hay hombres que se sienten intimidados cuando ven una mujer que hace más dinero que ellos.
¿Por qué tú crees eso?
Porque ellos sienten que van a ser tratados. Ellos sienten que van a ser tratados como menos. Que en la casa van a ser pisoteados. Como que ella le va a restregar en la cara. Como que se va a poner la cara, como que yo hago más que tú, tienes que hacer lo que yo diga.
Yeah, it's true.
Tienen miedo.
No, it's true.
Sí,
It's true.
y no solamente eso, sino porque, por ejemplo, yo he escuchado esto de algunos compañeros míos. No voy a mencionar nombres aquí, así que tranquilos.
No hay nombre aquí.
No nombres.
Ok, dale.
De compañeros míos dije que mira, es que incluso ellos prefieren literalmente simplemente buscar a una persona de ya sea que sea de menor recurso que ellos, simplemente para tenerlo controlado.
Oh, es un tema de control. El tema es control.
Sí.
Y que el hombre quiere controlar a la mujer, entonces se siente que esta mujer gana más, él pierde el control. Ok.
Claro, porque es muy diferente tú tener una relación donde realmente ambos son equivalentes uno al otro, a uno estar aquí y el otro estar aquí, porque incluso aunque tú quieras venir y dejar a esa persona por X motivo, si tú eres dependiente, cónchale, al final aunque tú quisieras no puedes, porque tu estilo de vida depende de él completamente.
Mira, es verdad, mira, personalmente nunca me ha pasado tener una mujer que gana más que yo. Me gustaría.
Yeah. Que lo paga.
A todos, ¿eh?
Claro, porque mira,
Nosotros vamos a salir, nosotros vamos a
claro, a mí me gustaría,
Págalo.
sería feliz para poder descansar un poquito.
Ujú.
Porque tengo 20 años asumiendo gastos. Y gastos, llega un momento a donde tú te cansas. Entonces sería bueno tener una persona que por lo menos, mira, te voy a decir cuál es el tema de eso también. Nosotros, yo soy de África, del Congo. Culturally, we were taught to be providers.
Right.
We have to provide.
That's right.
Therefore, as provider, we have that embedded chip that you have to be the one that can provide for the family.
That's right.
Then you assume that role with no problem because my dad did that, my grandfather did it, my great-grandfather did the same thing. So to me, I couldn't fathom the idea that a woman can make more than I do. So therefore, we had a tendency to go after women who made less automatically. Because, yeah, culturally. Unless you're married to a family that, you know, the dad has money and then, you know, then it's a little bit different, you know. But usually,
But you, like, hold on, so let me get this straight.
sure.
So you looked for women who made less than you, or it just so happened?
It just happened.
Okay.
It just happened.
Right.
It just happened. And then, over here I was a provider. So then it was like a normal role.
Right.
But then here's the problem. What's the stress that is put upon you in the relationship? It's like,
A lot.
what happened if something happened to me? The whole thing collapsed
And you're responsible.
because
Correct.
your mate is not capable of assuming any responsibility because you've been a provider all your life. Then it became a problem. Because it occurred.
Right.
I reached a point where business was slow. Then what do I do now? Then I look at me, you know, I looked at her for answer. Look at me like, what are you gonna do now? I'm like, okay. It made me rethink things over. I'm like, it's better if you can find women that can make as much as you, or even a little bit less, but at least if something happened to me,
That she can hold all the weight.
yeah, she can cost. She can actually support the cost. She can actually keep on going.
Exactly.
Then the problem with that, daily, you have that constant struggle mentally that you have to keep on, you know. And guess what? It gets tiresome. And start putting strain on the relationship. Unless you're a multi-millionaire, where you don't have to worry about it, or my name is Musk. It doesn't, And I got 11
But
kids.
even if you got must name, like it's but then you're not gonna have a serious relationship because you got too many options.
But exactly. But look at Beyonce and Jay-Z. He hit the jackpot, and she hit the jackpot. When they got damn, that's a powerful couple. Either one can fail and one will support each other. You think about it, because sometimes you want to keep that lifestyle. And I can feel right now, like my kids since birth, they're just on the lifestyle. So sometimes I want to downgrade, but I can't.
Yeah, you're forced.
Because they look at me like
You're bugging.
this place is missing this place is missing that, and then it put lots of stress on you, and you have to constantly listen. I sleep, think about business. I wake up, think about business. When I sleep, I don't sleep. My mind is constantly working. Like today, I was dreaming I was cutting deal. I woke up like, damn, that was a dream, you know. It was so real, you know. Because you're subconscious. It's a good thing. It keeps you to thrive and to continue. But there's a time where you want to be able to sit down and relax and say, you know what? But I just can't. You know, so constantly, I have to constantly innovate myself, constantly looking for new businesses. And it's, you know, I'm 51. You get tired after a while. Because when I was young, my job was different. And I remember when I was 22, bro, business was booming. I was trading gold. I was doing this, you know. But I didn't have those management skills that were needed. I wasn't saving. I was spending money as it comes, you know. Then you get used to the lifestyle, you know. I was going crazy. I had friends from all over the globe. When business went down, when I lost my contract, because they had, I was outsourcing my goods from the Congo.
All the friends were gone.
And they had the coup d'etat. The government was overthrown, and lost the country. I'm like, then I realized that I tried to keep it the lifestyle. It lasted for about a year. I had 12 cars, 12 luxury cars at one time.
It's too much, bro.
12.
Too much.
I hated making line at the airport. I was flying private with my friends. I used to go to Switzerland, France. I was costing everything. And when I couldn't, they realized that the old one-on-one, I'm like, you know. Now remember, this was so bad that I lost all my cars. Because, you know, you finance all those things because, you know, why pay cash because you can finance them.
Exactly.
I was running away from the repo man. The repo man is a guy that in the United States, when you don't pay your car, they come and snatch it. Listen. I was running away from the repo man.
No, they come and get you. And they don't fucking pay.
Où ça va et toi, comment tu vas? Okay, perfecto. Hello, everybody.
So, all right, and
Oui, on parle
Oui, elle est ma meilleure amie.
Ta meilleure amie?
Ouais.
Excellent. Okay.
so, and then, because I don't think we even talked about that. So, you have to say how much you make. What is it you do? Exactly.
Okay, right now I'm into finances. What we do, we pretty much.
You work for a business or you own?
No, I own the business. We do brokerage services. So we manage funds. And what we do, we pretty much have clients. And we have clients, our clients are mainly from Africa. Because Africa don't have, let's face it, mainly from sub-Saharan Africa, because they don't have any secondary market. So we help those guys invest their money into different markets. So what we do, we use UBS, Bank of Switzerland, we manage our funds. And what we do, we just pretty much give them access. We give them access to all those. We give them access to all those people, so they can actually invest into different markets, and, you know, like Nasdaq, NYSE, and this and that. So we also into real estate. We do. We also into real estate. We also into banking. We have two banks. Two banks in. The banks are actually in Sudan, and one is a retail bank, and the other one is actually it's a commercial bank. You know, we also into agro commodities, what we do actually, Arabic gum. The gum is used for different type of pharmaceutical industry, wine industry, and this
This
and
guy's
that.
honest, he's balling, like,
We,
for real. Like,
we are the largest producer of Arabic gum, you know. And then it's a multifaceted business, you know. And the reason I came to with that conclusion is because I came to this business. I'm not sure why. I used to work for Norton Networks, and I had stock options at the time. And Norton went down. I had like 8,000 shares. So my net worth one time was like $2 million. When I had but then when Norton started going down, I started losing my stocks. But I didn't know how to sell at the right time. I was just holding on to that. But then what I did, my house, I had a mortgage placed by my stocks. So when the stock went down, I have a good margin call where the value of my stock was like, let's say, $600,000. My house worth $1 million. Then guess what? I lost my house too. Then I'm like, dang.
how many times you messed up on the bag?
Oh, I messed up so many times. So many times. So many times. And it's still a learning process.
Always.
Still a learning process. And now, I find pretty much a formula where I can actually hedge my loss. And that's why we decided to move to Dubai. We do everything advantage of taxes because Dubai didn't have any taxes at the time. Now they have 9% taxes. So therefore, we're taking more risk. So instead of paying taxes, like we move our assets to Dubai, so we're spending about 20-25% taxes. So we start investing into risky projects. We will flourish as well. So that's, you know, but 99%, we're looking for some other market, which is kind of hard. Then we look at Qatar. Qatar, they still don't have any taxes, and Saudi Arabia. So that's something I'm looking at, you know, so we talk about it in a different light here. That's pretty much how I got into the financial business here. Because I was tired of losing money, and I'm like, instead of let me be in the back to see how this whole engine works in the backbone, you know, because if I was just a front runner, you know, let me be in the back end, you know, that's pretty much how I came up with the business here.
Nice.
And start, you know, we have a different partner, you know, like with the Arabic gums, different partner, with the bank, different partnerships. So we start creating alliance with different type of people, exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's all right.
Yeah.
So, those of you who know, my name is Jamie Robledo. I am CFO for one cybersecurity company, CEO for two, and I'm also a founder. All of it is tech. I don't do anything else. I'm not the jack of all trades. So for me, it was pretty simple. I had some money. I was working at Microsoft, and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna go all in. I bought my way into the partnership of Microsoft, climbed up, and just kept working hard. My skill sets are just cloud. Programming, cloud engineering, networking, build a good clientele, and just started climbing up. I enjoy my privacy. So anywhere you go, you will not see anything that says any OO on purpose. Why? Because I don't like to be on the front line. I like to be the person on the back end. But realizing this year in becoming a founder for software that we'll talk about later on in many episodes to go, you know, you do have to be on that forefront, right? Because you have to project, you have to market, and so on and so forth. So I love what I do it with passion, and my kids own each company now. So now I'm just full-time founder for just one organization and CFO for another. What do you guys do? Don't say where you get paid, just what do you guys do, where you work. Don't say where you work at. What is it, the trade that you do in this country?
En mi caso, yo estoy trabajando en un centro de llamadas. Call center. Bueno, en mi caso, yo trabajo en un call center, centro de llamadas, básicamente, tomando llamadas tanto gano como tú dijiste, como reservarlo.
That's right.
Pero a diferencia de ustedes, mucha la diferencia.
Bastante, porque ya-
But no, but you have to understand, you guys are still young.
Right.
How old are you?
24.
How old are you?
You have plenty of time.
¿Me dijo a mí?
Uh-huh.
¿Ya? ¿De seis?
You say 24.
24.
So,
Pero tú trabajas ahí también.
Ah, no.
All right, so hold on, before you even get...
Bueno, antes de eso, yo no puedo decir freelancer porque es que no es lo mismo.
Freelancer de qué clase?
No, it's the same, no es lo mismo. Aquí es joseador, un J.
It's hustler.
Porque,
You know,
Yeah, because you
o sea,
know, so yeah, freelance, someone who works at a company, independent contractors, freelancers and consultants, they have different names. In this country, they have different aspects to them. And you'll get to know that later on. Like an independent contractor, even if you're the employer can't tell the independent contractor to come in at a certain time. The independent contractor actually makes their own hours. So it's very different. Go.
así que básicamente cualquier cosa que me pueda darme a mí, aunque sean $20, yo soy tu hombre. Yo soy tu hombre, yo estoy ahí para ti 8 horas, sin ningún problema.
So, the side hustles, you know, things on like a freelance where they just pick up and go do things, and you know, it's very interesting because that, you know, you guys know about my app, right? So, I feel like it's gonna help a lot of people. It's gonna change this country entirely and do so many things for many people. So. We're gonna hop over into a different phase because we do have some other questions that we need to answer, and then there's some questions that the guys are gonna be wanting to get answered. So, what role does the family play in the relationship in each culture? Now, for me, the family plays a role where, not that you have to want their approval or their acceptance, but I would say it's kind of important because the woman that you're spending your life with, you know, you're gonna have a relationship with these people forever. So you're kind of stuck with these people. So I'm not saying make the best out of it, because that's a worse option, but they play a role where it's your extended family. Now, I know that, and you know, Dominican culture, it was a big shock in Haiti. So here in this country, the role that you play as a Dominican in the family, what does that look like for you?
Que como hablamos antes, o sea, nosotros también somos criados de la forma de que tenemos que ser proveedores. O sea, para nosotros, la familia, ¿cómo decirlo? Para que no suene mal, es algo con lo que tenemos que cargar. Es un peso de responsabilidad. Una vez tú tienes una familia, tú te olvidas de todo. Ya no fiestas, ya no estar con muchas más mujeres, ya no perder el tiempo, disfrutando de cualquier actividad. O sea, tu único enfoque es la familia. Y si organizáramos en una lista de prioridades, ¿cuál puesto tiene la familia? Sería el primero, por encima de ti. Aquí, por lo menos aquí.
Exactamente, mira, ahí tengo que estar de acuerdo con él. Vamos a coincidir ahí. Mira, me fíjate que hemos estado coincidiendo mucho realmente, porque usualmente siempre estamos peleando. Porque, mire, hey, es fuerte.
Dale.
Sí, entonces es fuerte porque incluso eso es algo biológico ya. Por lo menos en el hombre. Que hay otro tema también que por eso suele suceder mucho eso. Porque el tema de los roles. Porque el rol del hombre, que por eso que el hombre siempre, aunque ahora le tienen un aire que no, que el hombre siempre ha tenido más derechos, tanto en términos laborales, la familia, no, eso es mentira. El hombre siempre ha sido despojo en la sociedad. Los que van a la guerra, ¿quiénes son? Los hombres. Los que trabajan en las minas, incluso al día de hoy, que es un trabajo sumamente mortal, ¿quiénes son? Los hombres. Los que trabajan en plantas petroleras, ¿quiénes son? Los hombres. Entonces, cualquier cosa que represente un riesgo a la vida, usualmente lo que siempre está en la primera línea, como dijiste ahorita, que ¿quiénes son? Los hombres.
La verdad.
La verdad. Eso porque eso fue simplemente evolución biológica. ¿Por qué? Porque un solo hombre es suficiente para repoblar incluso un país completo.
Okay.
Sin embargo, una mujer no. Es
¿Por qué?
es incapaz de eso, porque su reloj biológico no se lo permite, son 9 meses de embarazo.
Ah.
Imposible. Entonces, la vida de un hombre y de una mujer no se puede, a nivel biológico, no son comparables. No somos más prescindibles que ellas. Un hombre puede embarazar a 100 mujeres diferentes sin ningún problema. Pero una mujer al final del día se lo puede quedar embarazada de un solo hombre. Bueno, dos a veces, pero es raro.
Okay.
Esos casos son raros. Entonces, por eso es que viene ya el tema de la familia. Que el hombre es el que tiene que estar en el frente, en la cabeza. Miren, no digo que tomen el machismo, ni nada de eso. Simplemente estoy hablando aquí de lo que ha sucedido a nivel evolutivo.
So do you feel like, okay, so do you feel like in playing that role, do you think you should be financially responsible for your extended family? So let's say you marry your wife and the dad comes up to you and says, hey, listen, I have a problem. And, you know,
Mi problema es tu problema.
right, I need you to give me 1,000 pesos. Do you feel like that's your responsibility and you say, yeah, I'm going to take care of it? Or no, that's your responsibility because you're an adult? Which one?
A mí lo personal, el dinero nunca representa ningún problema porque, por si yo puedo, claro. Porque el dinero al final es dinero, eso va y viene, no importa. Ahora, pero a mí es muy importante el porqué de las cosas. El porqué siempre es importante. Incluso más que el hecho en sí. Porque, bueno, incluso cuando hay un asesinato, dije, ok, esta persona se murió. Pero ¿por qué pasó eso? ¿Por qué?
But so you're right, but there's a part of that where they start to abuse it, right? Because then what happens is that they're gonna come like every 5 minutes and they're gonna start asking, right? So vamos a decir un problema.
Exacto, por eso mismo. Porque yo te doy ese problema, pero ¿por qué? ¿Qué tú necesitas? Porque, o sea, si tú necesitas algo, que mira, necesito 1,000 pesos para hacer esto, por ejemplo. Y yo, bueno, perfecto. Ahora, pero si tú dices que mira, dame dinero así, porque sí, yo, bueno, míralo aquí, pero ¿qué es? ¿Por qué? ¿Qué necesitas? ¿Porque necesitas más? ¿O es suficiente? O sea, no tiene por qué ser algo malo, pero tengo curiosidad, ¿por qué? Para mí, por lo menos para mí, el por qué es muy importante.
En ese caso, o sea, yo siento que tú tienes que, es una presión, tú tienes que hacerlo. Porque si te pide, o sea, por cualquier inconveniente, pásame 1,000 pesos. Si tú le dices que no, tú quedas mal con quién.
Con el papá y
con la esposa. Entonces, a pesar de que papá, tú no convives con él todos los días, ¿con quién sí? Con la esposa. Eso
ahí
es,
entramos
no
en
te
temas.
toca hoy.
Eso es todo.
Porque es que ahí entramos a otro tema también.
Ajá.
Porque es que al final es molesto eso. Porque yo estoy saliendo contigo. A mí, mira, a mí sinceramente tu mamá, tu papá, tu hermana, tu vaina, a mí esa gente no me importa. Yo puedo venir.
Well, you're right. Let me ask you that same question too, because I already asked them. So, let's say if, vamos a decir que el papá está diciendo cada vez, oye, like, every day, every month.
Tiene un nombre eso,
every
mi gente,
month.
¿cómo se llama eso ahí? Eso tiene un nombre. Aquí tiene un nombre eso.
So, what would you do if he keeps coming to you? Casi todos los días para preguntarte, oye,
Eso va a depender. ¿En qué sentido? En el sentido de que si tenemos hijos ella y yo, o sea, si no tenemos hijos la dejo a ella, la dejo al papá.
Y no sabe
Yo no soy caja de dinero.
alto para que se pueda escuchar.
Aquí lo dejamos todo. Ahora, si tenemos hijos entre los dos, es una difícil situación. Eso había que conversarlo con la pareja y ver si ella entiende de que no es correcto que él te pida dinero todos los días. Puede ser que tenga una situación mala, pero tan mala para que sea todos los días.
Ay, no, eso es
Sí,
malo.
porque por ejemplo, Yo, incluso ahora mismo, mira, dame 500 y tú me lo das, pero después digo, mira, y los 500, ¿por qué tú no pedías? Porque tú no me dijiste nada. Tú me lo quitaste y ya. Tú querías 500 pesos. Pero, no, el porqué de la cosa es muy importante. Y al final, recuerden, tu pareja es tu pareja. Ya su familia son un extra con lo que tú tienes que cargar y conocer por obligación, no porque tú quieres. Eso es una obligación de parte de la relación. Porque al final la relación va con sacrificio y eso es una parte de ello. Ahora, si ya la familia son personas que te caen súper bien, que tú te llevas bien con ellos, que no hay ningún problema, es diferente. Pero no deja de ser un sacrificio. Porque, por ejemplo, el día que tú te dejas de esa persona, que es súper normal que eso suceda, ¿qué pasa con la familia? A esa persona tú no vas a volver a ver más nunca. Tú no vas a ver más de ellos.
So, what they both said was basically the same thing. Right? And I know we live, and I'm sorry, but the phone got knocked, the camera got knocked out, but we're gonna fix it right now, and we're gonna keep going. Go on, shit. No,
Es porque si sigue saliendo, no en su cara.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So we're back on it. All right. So, the guys are saying that, as a man who is married to your wife, you have children. Yes, it is your responsibility to make sure you hold down the whole fort. That includes her family. Now, there's a difference between, like, if the dad comes up to you and says, "Hey, listen, I'm having an issue. Can you give me 1,000 pesos?" Versus him asking every single day, which is a bigger issue. And then, like he said, you have to think about that, right? It really all depends, but everyone's different. Me, I feel like, my woman's responsibility is my responsibility. But there is a point where you have to think for yourself. If it's like all the time, it's abuse, period. Like, I'm just not, I'm not gonna shortchange it. It's abuse. If they're asking you like constantly, especially if you're American, like they already know that they're just trying to get a quick buck. You know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to do their thing. Now, but as I said, for me, I married my woman and her family got issues. Like, all right, we'll take care of it, and then that's it. You have to draw also a fine line between you looking out for them and then abuse, because people will look at it as, oh, this guy, he has it.
Yeah,
right?
that's correct. Yeah.
What if? How about if they start asking you? They're like, oh, look, he's the president of this company. He got money. Let me. Yo, I got this problem. Then the next week is like, I got that.
I know.
problem. So I guess the question poses to you now: how do you feel about that type of dynamic when it comes to you dating a girl and, well, not dating, you marry a woman here and, the family's issues are now you have your issues, and how does that work dynamically when it comes to finances?
Well, it's a very deep subject in the sense where it's all about what is acceptable. I don't mind helping in condition like extreme conditions, where it's really needed for them to come up with the problem. Like let's say, I don't know, sickness and stuff like that. But I don't think I should be able. I should take care of the basic stuff. I don't think I should take the basic stuff. Shouldn't be part of my daily like. I shouldn't have to take care of the whole family. I don't think that's correct. But if the needs be, then I don't mind.
But like, what if the dad says one day, like, I need like I posed the question to these guys. I need 1,000 pesos. I got this issue and I just need a quick fix.
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
They need to pay you.
Right. So now let's say the dad, and you're married to this woman, right? How do you feel about if he comes up to you every single week and now?
No. No, I would stop. Hey, listen, I'm not a bank. I'm not a bank.
No chasqueadora.
I'm not a bank. Then
He is the bank, but
it
he's not the bank.
becomes abuse.
Agreed.
It becomes abuse.
Right.
It becomes abuse. You know, I think we need to set boundaries. Like I said, it has to be an extreme situation where I have to intervene. But the best, I didn't marry daughter or didn't your daughter to take care of the whole family. It's just not part of, I just don't operate that way because, especially when you have children, that requires a lot. Like in my case, for instance.
That's right.
Like in my case, for instance, my children are costly. So I don't have time to, family come first. When I talk about family, I talk about the nuclear family, which means kids, mom, and so that's the nuclear, that's what I'm looking at, Then I don't mind. Then, and in that case, endless. But when it comes to because the thing about it, culturally, you have to be very careful who you deal with because you have to look into the family because sometimes they will ruin you. And you don't want to be that cash cow where you have to constantly, unless, if I have the means, if I have endless resources, I don't mind. But if my resources are limited,
Yeah, no,
I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It doesn't mean because I'm doing better than you do. And also another thing, I won't sacrifice my lifestyle
Agreed.
for you. It doesn't make any sense.
But even if you was born like that, right? Do you feel like it's still acceptable?
No, it's not acceptable.
Right? So do you think that, let's say you make $250K a year, right? That's $25,000 a month. Do you feel like it's acceptable for them to keep coming up to you to be like, yo, what's up?
Yeah. No. It's a big problem. It's a big issue. It's a big issue. It's a big issue. To me, it's just not acceptable for me to have to constantly. Once in a while, I don't mind. And then, luckily, in my case, I made myself clear from the beginning. My money is for my family. So, if you need anything, I'm sorry. I won't do. I take it maybe once in a while, but I could. But I can't sacrifice my well-being for the sake of, especially if you know that the family is not, because unfortunately, people think that when you're foreign, that you get money from a tree.
That you're rich.
That you just get, how much, here's the tree, No, it's a false concept.
Yeah.
It's a false concept. I have a certain lifestyle. I was, that, because, listen, I saw it my dad. My dad had to take care of my mom's family for years. When it was time to sell the house, they got mad at him. Like, they didn't want to leave. They said, hold on, we've been here all this year. I'm like, guess what? They got used to be taken care of. Like I said, you can teach. Like I said, I like the Chinese proverb. I think the Chinese proverb, Instead of giving a fish, teach them how to fish.
Amen. Yeah.
I believe into that.
Yeah.
I think you have to listen, but if you because once you become a giver,
That's it.
guess what?
That's all they're gonna expect from you.
That's all they're going to expect from
They're gonna have no
you.
respect.
So you have to set the boundaries where, how far would I let you guys go? And I'm dry when it comes to that. I will cut you off, literally. And I don't mind because I just don't.
Hold on, but there's certain aspects to that, right? Like if we're hanging out and we eating, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just pay the bill. I just pay the bill.
Oh, that's not
right. But when it comes to a family dynamic, it's different because you're seeing these people practically all the time, and it's then after a while they're gonna be like, well, you just might as well just start paying the rent, pay the bills,
Exactly,
and be done with it. No. And that's another thing that goes into another question that came up, right? How do expectations around marriages are different from people you're from Western and Eastern, right? Whether you're American, whether you're Dominican. So I will tell you from my experience. The expectation that was given unto me was, at least from what I was taught, from my family, is my responsibility is my home. I'm the provider. My job is to take care of the home. But I do believe that it's important to teach the children, and not that your wife has to work, but if she wants to, it's not a problem, right?
That's correct.
I never had a problem with any of that, and like my ex, she never have to lift a finger. She can say that to this day. She's probably watching right now. And for me, I didn't have an issue with it. My kids were spoiled as hell because they lived a certain lifestyle, and you know, they enjoyed it. But I always felt like it's important for me to teach them, because one day when I grow, what's gonna happen? You know, like how are they gonna keep going? What type of skill sets are they building? Are they thinking about their finances? Are they being smart about credit and all those other things? You know, it just depends on that scenario. How do you guys feel about the expectations of marriage? And now that's another thing too. That was the only expectation that I had about myself. Now, I don't know or even recall an expectation that was given to me from my ex, but to be honest, relationship, from the first year on, it was on rock and roll. And me, I just felt like it was my duty, because my wife was pregnant, she had kids, until they were old enough that they were out the house, that I had to stay there, write it down, but everybody's different. What do you feel like the expectations of the marriage in this country is?
Bueno, las expectativas.
Put it towards the corner.
Estamos de vuelta entonces. Las expectativas, por lo menos, que nosotros tenemos. ¿Está bien ahí? Ok. Pues entonces, las expectativas que nosotros tenemos en este país, en el momento de nosotros casarnos, es que vamos a tener que cuidar a nuestra pareja, vamos a tener que proveer, y que por lo general, los tradicionales, no estoy diciendo que tenga que ser así 100%, es que ella se queda en la casa, cuide a los niños y los eduque correctamente. Y eso es como esposo, ya cada quien con su rol, esa expectativa que nosotros nos brindan y nos proveen. Porque hay dos caminos, en el que la mujer se queda en la casa y cuida a los niños, y también en el que los dos trabajan y hacen que la casa crezca juntos básicamente. Pero estamos en una sociedad que está inculcando a que el quedarse en la casa a cuidar a los niños se ve como algo mal.
¿Por qué tú dices eso?
Porque hoy en día estamos en un punto en el cual se busca mucha igualdad, y todo lo que se habla es de igualdad. Entonces eso es lo que yo pienso, se está menospreciando en cierto punto la importancia del rol de una mujer cuidar a los niños en la casa. O sea, es como que tú trabajas, yo trabajo en igualdad, los dos proveemos a la casa.
Oh, no.
Y contratamos a alguien para que cuide a los niños y para que los eduque. Una nana, o sea, esa persona puede que los eduque mal. Esa persona no los va a educar como una verdadera madre educaría a sus hijos. Una madre va a buscar que los hijos sean respetuosos, sean honrados, sean inteligentes, y le va a enseñar de forma correcta. Una nana, me están pagando, me siento, vean muñequitos, vean televisión, vean cartoons, y ya. Entonces, ese rol es muy importante, el rol de que la madre se quede en el hogar y le brinde el camino correcto a los hijos, es muy importante. Y eso es lo que sea, son expectativas que a uno les ponen, por lo menos aquí, esos dos caminos.
Sí, porque al final del día no se puede olvidar que este país en un inicio fue conquistado por los españoles y que trajeron la religión, que ahí entra, toma un rol muy importante en lo que es la sociedad dominicana, porque al final aquí una gran mayor parte, incluso aunque no sean creyentes, fieles, siguen llevándose, ¿verdad?, de lo que sería entonces la Biblia, de sus creencias. Y la Biblia, ¿cómo es? ¿Es algo más, por decirlo de algún modo, rústico o antiguo, por decirlo de algún modo, el estilo de vida? Y eso realmente está arraigado en la seno de
La cultura, sí,
sí,
correcto.
en la cultura.
But
Entonces, pero al final eso es lo que a uno le vende. Otra cosa es cómo sea la realidad.
Exacto.
yeah.
Que es muy importante, claro.
¿Y ustedes qué opinan acerca de eso, desde su punto de vista?
Dale.
Desde el punto de vista hablando de cultura, religión y todo eso, mira, es algo, por ejemplo, I had the opportunity to, when it comes to religion, and I had the opportunity to, I mean, I've been to Israel, I've been to the Middle East, I've been to the Christian world, and I was raised personally single Adventist, I was raised Christian. Then when I moved to the Middle East, and I've realized that those guys, the core value is the same really. What I mean by that, at the end, all philosophy, Buddhist and Christianism, Islam, Judaism, come to one thing. Treat your neighbor as you would like to be treated.
I agree.
Or love your neighbor as, you know, so when you think about it, if we're able to apply this principle in our daily lives, things would have been different. We'd have no wars, we'd have no discrimination, no prejudices, no stereotype, because all those things are embedded, but unfortunately, religion has been, like Karl Marx said, like religion is the opium of the masses. Put it this way, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know the exact quote. So, which is true, because in life when you think about religion, you need, because there are times where, as a person, you just can't go on. You can't continue. You need that super power to allow you to continue, because you get tired. Your family can let you down. Your friend can let you down. You stop believing in yourself. What do you have left? So you need that superpower to allow you to go on. That's why lots of people cling into religion, to be able to give them that power, because when there is no hope, pretty much life ends. What allows us to continue, despite the circumstances, is the hope that something that will give up eventually, will give in, that you're going to be able to continue. So, I remember when I first moved to because in 2006, someone was telling me, come to the Middle East, come to Dubai. I was like, nah, because I was brainwashed by the West. To me, Islam was terrorism and was all those different things. That's what I thought. But when I moved, I remember I was in Turkey. And the reason I was close to Dubai, I was, you know what, let me take a flight to Dubai because my sister lived there since 2006, I believe, you know, because her husband is actually from there. Then I arrived there and I've realized that what I've read was all wrong. And then when I realized that the brotherhood was real, is during Ramadan.
Oh, that's
Ramadan, you know, everybody knows is is the annual fast
30 days.
for 30 days.
From
But
sun
you-
up to sundown.
For sun up to sundown. So pretty much
Yeah, it's different. It's a,
from 7 o'clock in the night until roughly about 2 a.m. in the morning is that fasting time. Then, so at 7 o'clock you break the fast. But you should see how everybody got together. Breaking bread, eating, and the whole country have, when in traffic lights, they distribute foods. So to allow you to fast without worry, where they set up
Without worry.
they set up places where you eat for free. You eat for free. And when everybody gets together, you eat and you realize that moment of peace, and then and every year the rulers of the Middle East, of the UAE, which is Arab Emirates, they forgive loans. They do lots of charity type of activities. And they realize how they get together, and I realize, wow, that's something we're missing in Christianity. The majority of Christian is just by name. But when you have a problem,
So when you say that, what does that mean exactly?
well, I've realized that those people are really,
Tell me from your experience.
from experience, I've realized those people, they really go by what they believe. It's not the facade, the majority. You'll be surprised. And guess what? During Ramadan, it's almost forbidden for me to deny you any type of help. If you have a problem, and you see you need X amount of money, I cannot say no if I can help you out. You know what I mean? And it was like, wow, those people are really, I was shocked to see them. And guess what? I was fasting I was a Muslim, but I was fasting with them. Then I realized that how valuable, listen, we're waiting. 6:57, it's time to eat. Because you're starving. You eat from 7 to 2 a.m., literally. We sit down and eat from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. We're eating. You can't drink water, none of that during And then we all get together, we break bread, we share stories, and you see how people are happy. And then I realized, like, wow. I haven't seen this in Adventism, in Christianism, and I've tried different type of religion. And then my point is, if we're able to, I'm going to quote it. Look, when Trump went to Abu Dhabi, he went to the mosque. He was amazed. He said, wow, this is a beautiful culture. He said it himself. Look how Trump was received. Of course, political leaders, it's a give and take things. But you looked at the way they do things and the way things operate. And something I like about the culture is that your word is your bond. If I'm telling you to do something, I'm going to do it. If I'm not doing it because literally I can't do it, you know what I mean? But at least, I've seen contracts. We just shake hands. And the paper are signed later. And guess what? Living like that, living that type of society, you change your mindset. You're like, wow. Now I'm very careful in what I do. If I can't do something,
What you say.
and what I say, if I can't do something, I just won't say because I realize that it's because listen, I had issues like that, simple issues. Once I want to do it, and then guess what? I'm gonna give you a story. As I have a company in the UAE, I can give you a visa if I want to. Or it's a 2-year residency visa, or you have to pay the fee. So when I was in Turkey, I met this woman, we were friends, and one day she told me, I have a friend who needs a favor. She's from Nigeria. She needs a visa, can you do it? I said, of course I can do it, no problem. It's gonna cost X amount of money. But I was in Chile at the time. So I have already deposited the money into my account, and then we do the paperwork. But she only deposited half of it. And I'm like, listen, I'm doing you a favor. I'm not costing you cost because I don't know you.
And this is not to promote it, but how much is it to get it?
It's about $1,000 for the residency. If I'm going to sponsor you, it's going to cost you about 3,890 dirham. That's how much it costs. So I'm like, okay, perfect. So she go and put half. I'm like, I can't do it. Guess what? I'm not going to say, well, but she deposited money to my account. She has the receipt. One day I arrived in Dubai. As I'm a UAE resident, all I have to do is just put my card in. If you look at all all the ID, they have a chip, you know, you see, that's the chip right there.
Yeah.
So you go there, you put it in, you see, that's the chip. You put it in, I don't have to go to immigration, and there's a green light, you go in. I put the card in red. Put it again in red. I'm like, okay. So I go to the office and say, well, you have a warrant for your arrest. I'm like, a warrant for my arrest? What did I do? So we don't know. We have to take you in.
Vamos a arreglar esto.
I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it has to be a mistake. So they put me in a paddy wagon. I go to the police station from the immigration. Because we can only hold you and then you know. And I get there, they say, that girl had a long Nigerian name, like chicken. I'm like, do you know this person? Yes, I know this person. I said, well, she pressed charges. I said, what? I said, well, I'm like, what is it? She said, well, you worth some money, and then like, you know, you think you're gonna do something, you didn't do it. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, oh crap. I said, I own the company. He said, oh, you own the company? I said, what occurred? Because when you own a company, you consider a partner. You consider someone who brings something to you, so you are favored. Okay, what's going on here? It's okay, listen, we're gonna do. So they call her. They say, well, we have Mr. Orcias here. Can you come? She said, we want to come tomorrow. I said, well, tomorrow come. She arrives. He said, what's going on? I said, well, I gave my story, so she gave us. I said, hold on. Here's the conversation. And the officer looked at her and said, hold on. So that's really what you need? She said, we have two things. I said, what do you want? I said, well, I can go to the ATM machine and give her money back. That's not an issue. She said, no, I want punitive damages because, you know, that was 2 months ago and this guy has lots of money. And I'm like, I said, hold on, I did you a favor. And then the guy told her, you have two choices. Take the money, ask, or you have to go to court. If you go to court, you're going to have to hire an attorney, and it's costly. And that's how we settle. What's the moral of the situation? It's like, you have to be careful what you get yourself involved in those countries. It was the minimum amount. It was minimum. But guess what? I was still detained. This guy fixed up. And after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that type of favor anymore. Because she knew what she was doing. And she thought by doing that, by doing coercion, I was going to give her what she wanted. Because as far as the constitution, you know, she thought, you know. And that was my first time ever being in trouble in Dubai. I mean, it was fixed in 5 minutes. But imagine, you arrive tired from a long flight to get detained, and you like, you know, just imagine the confusion. And I realized, I said, wow. Certain things you can do in other places which is acceptable. There is just unacceptable. Insulting you, giving the middle finger, it's a crime. Defaming you, ruining your reputation, it's a crime. And so I'm going to tell this guy, owe me some money, I'm going to put it on social network. I said, no, if I have an issue with him, let's fix it ourselves. It's a crime.
We have it this a little bit more different.
I know.
We don't play that.
You know.
We don't play that.
And guess what? The first step is the police is a conciliator. He tries to make things work. If it doesn't work, then he take it to the next level. He's sent to the court, and then they will deal with it. And when I saw, I'm like, you know what? From that point on, I've been careful in what I do, in everything I do. But I don't have to be taken advantage of, you know. So, if you're going to try to use me, you'll face me. Then, you know, so when you live in that type of environment, you realize that, wow, those principles, and that's why it's so successful when you look at it. Because those guys are really, of course, you always got some scammer everywhere. That's worldwide.
That don't matter. No matter.
Doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah, you got to leave it here.
But the majority, listen, I've made deal in Dubai just out of a handshake. And we sent the paperwork 3 months later. So the guy was still honoring his part of the deal, and that's how it works. When you see those things, it changes you because we used to things like even here, this is nothing. No, to me this is not nothing because I look at even the smallest thing as very important. Yeah. So going back to the fact that you mentioned in religion, I mean, it's very. I mean, if you can, like I said, the basic principle is just treat your neighbor as you look to be treated. And if you can do which is hard sometimes, you know, because it's also sometimes society inclined, that, you know, society has a tendency to influence the way you look at things. But if you're able to remember those principles, believe me, the world will be such a better place. a much better place, I'm telling you.
So, a question came up, and this one's gonna be a little bit hilarious, right? Because from here on, we gotta be honest all the way, and we gotta keep it 100. There's no faking, there's no holding back.
Okay.
So, what are common etiquettes when dating a woman in this country? Something that's normal. I'm gonna give you my example, then you give me your example.
Okay.
My example is, when we go out, flowers, at least, right, I'm 47 years old. So flowers, opening up the door, making sure that she feels comfortable, where you want to eat at, go, right, plan, reservations, the whole shit. Those are common etiquettes that you have to do. Hold the seat when she sits down, all of that, right? Pay, tip, drop her off, go home, no kissing, no sex, right? What are common etiquettes for dating in this country within your culture? What's normal here? Do not hold back.
Qué difícil.
Qué difícil.
Voy a hacer como un escape aquí.
Qué difícil la puso ahí.
Pero para mí,
Pero lo normal es que también eso va a depender de tu estatus económico.
Okay.
Porque si tú eres de la clase social alta, va a ser un tipo como que, o sea, sí, voy con flores, te llevo a un restaurante caro, salimos a caminar por algunos sitios lujosos y luego te llevo a tu casa. Si hablamos de una clase un poco más media o baja, es totalmente diferente. Puede ser un helado, puede ser una caminata
Helado
por el
bon.
parque,
helado
bon,
bon, pizzarelli.
una pizza, uno yaniqueque, no sé cómo se dice en inglés, es un yaniqueque.
Where's Johnny Kid? Like Johnny
Es
Kid?
con harina.
Oh, sí, sí, sí,
No
sí.
sé cómo se llama en inglés. Puede ser yaniqueque, pasarla bien, pero ya en la clase media baja, en una cita, en la primera tiene que haber beso. 100% aquí, sí, 100%.
¿En serio?
Sí, si es una clase ya un poco más alta, es como que somos
Claro.
más tímidos, no sé por qué. En ese sentido, o sea, es como que como con flores, abrirte la puerta del vehículo, llevarte a un restaurante, comer, pero no besos. Para ellos es muy rápido. Bueno, aquí, en la clase alta, ya la clase media baja, es como que ven, nos besamos, es un poco más acelerado, un poco más rápido.
Cabrón.
And yo,
¿Cómo que ni un besito en la
That's,
primera?
only,
No,
that's,
así
hold
no.
on, hold on. That's another thing too. You ever kissed a girl on the first date? In this country?
Why not?
That's what I'm saying. So like for me, like we've I mean I've never done that in the United States.
But I need to
Okay,
watch it.
okay.
My God. So,
But it's different here. Like I noticed
Dame el carro, beso,
like
señor.
it's extremely different. Like anything goes. Like I noticed like the sex be popping off on the first night. Like I seen it like same night. But I don't know, I just find it weird that even takes place because like in the US that's not like if you want to date to get to know them and then eventually something winds up happening, right? But not that I'm thinking about that from the beginning. But here I find that
Solid
kissing happens, sex happens, drinking, smoking, like everything.
Que aquí no tenemos tabús por la cita, la primera cita, aquí todo pasa muy rápido. Aquí es como que ven, vamos a lo que vinimos. Vamos a hacer lo que estamos supuestos a hacer. Allá son un poco más reservados, entiendo yo, o sea, desde el punto de vista de Estados Unidos, son más como que, ok, tenemos que seguir ciertas normas y esto. Y luego, como tú dices, de varias citas, las cosas comienzan a suceder. Es que también, yo entiendo que los latinos somos muy fogosos, tenemos mucho fuego y es algo difícil de controlar. Entonces, cuando tienes atracción por otra persona, si quieres de una vez, ven que te voy a comer hoy, mami.
That's it. No, and you know what? I agree with that. That's like I get it. You're right. Everyone is different within that culture. Cause like, you know, I give an example. I remember going out on a date, and this was recent, and you know, I could tell you about a few dates, but I'm gonna tell you about one specific date. I go on a date with a girl, and I'm not looking to do anything. I'm just looking to talk, conversation, understand, get to know, right? Just to chill, nothing crazy. Tell me how I'm not thinking about kissing her. And she's looking at me like she want to tell me something like, you know, like what's going on? You, hay algo que tú quieres decirme. She's like, those lips, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like don't tell me stuff like that.
Esa típica mirada de que.
So she wanted to kiss me, right? But not like yo estaba diciendo, oye, es una petita, es rosa. La tita está cayendo porque tú sabes. Se acabó la cosa.
Es lo que te digo, sí, muy famoso.
Yeah, pero en Estados Unidos, yo, like, I never, on a first date, I never wanted to kiss him. Like, it just never happened. I never thought about it. Here, I don't know if it's, I don't know. I feel like it's expected when you go out on a date that you, at some point you're gonna have to kiss her. At some point, if she's feeling you, if she looks at you and she's like, oh yeah, I like this guy. At some point she's gonna want to kiss me. Now, there's other women on the first night. They trying to go in. They're not playing. They want to know what's up because, like you could tell who's feeling you, and that's another question that we gotta talk about too. You could tell who actually likes you, who's there to benefit, and who's there for the most dumbest reasons. And I'll give you one. I'll give you a few examples, and then you can give me yours, right? So I met a girl, and it's just pure conversation. Yes, on the first date we kissed, and then after that, 2 weeks later, she tells me, "Oh, I never told her what I do." And if she's watching, and she's gonna know right now. She don't know what I do. She don't know how much I make, right? But all of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, can I borrow $10,000?" Money. Espérate, mi amor. 10,000 pesos or $10,000? She's like, "No, I need the $10,000." Wow, for real? 2 weeks, right? Just talking. And you want me to give you $10,000? It's not gonna happen. In that case, right? What do we call those women? Chapeadora. Right? What is the? And then we're gonna go into another one too. So I remember this other person that, you know, we're friends, but we're friends, but I don't feel like she ever reciprocated that back to me. If it wasn't because of certain circumstances, she probably would date me. But why doesn't she date me? So either she doesn't like me, or every time I see her and we wind up going to dinner, she's benefiting because it's a nice dinner, like not regular dinner, a nice dinner, right? So you're just there for the benefit, that's it, you know? Tell me your experiences when it comes to things like that. Has that ever happened to you before? That a woman says, "Oh, like let's talk, let's date," and then it's not what it is, it's something else.
Es algo totalmente diferente. En mi caso, yo soy muy cuidadoso con eso. Con la chapeadora, soy muy cuidadoso. A mí nunca me ha pasado que me han chopeado. Nunca. Nunca yo le he dado de que. Porque es algo típico.
Ajá.
De aquí, tú te das cuenta de lo que una chapeadora cuando de poco tiempo de conocerte te dice: mi mamá está enferma, necesito dinero para medicamentos.
Y es muy posible que tú tengas un par de pesos abajo, que tú no lo sabías.
Con una semana de conocerte, con 3 días, 2 días. Ay, es que se me dañó el teléfono, necesito comprar uno nuevo.
Con 16.
¿Eso se pasa? ¿Cómo tú vas a saber que? Because there's Americans. So, how do you know if it's real or if it's not real? Like, how could you tell, right? Because you live here. So, for me, I wouldn't know. I would sit down and be like, okay, mommy, here. Okay, mommy, here. Okay. Yo no sabes. ¿Cómo tú sabes?
Uno se da cuenta cuando es por beneficio, cuando, o sea, de primera te lo dice tan rápido. O sea, tú me estás conociendo a mí y tú me estás hablando de problemas. Eso es una red flag.
That's right.
Y o sea,
You
inmediatamente.
see that, guys? You're talking to her, and all of a sudden she's telling you about problems. That's a red flag. Okay.
Corre de ahí, corre como puedas.
Wrong page, wrong.
Claro, porque tú no quieres darle un mal punto de vista a la persona que estás conociendo en un principio.
That's right.
Tú quieres hacer que todo sea perfecto, todo sea bonito. Porque al final nosotros nos vendemos. Cuando alguien te gusta, ¿qué tú haces? Cambiadito, perfumadito, con un corte. Habla más despacio, delicado. Sí, sí, sí.
Con voz profunda y todo eso.
Tú quieres que ella te compre a ti.
Es la verdad.
Porque te gusta. Tú no le hablas de que, oh, hoy tuve un mal día, no realicé ninguna venta,
Tengo muchos problemas.
tengo deudas. La vas a espantar.
That is very true.
Pero cuando tú ves que una mujer sabe que tú tienes dinero y te habla de problemas desde un principio,
No.
ya es un punto.
Suelta eso.
Suelta eso.
Exacto, suéltelo, porque ahí viene otro problema también, que existe, el hombre sufre de algo, que ahí viene también, todos a nivel biológico, dense en cuenta, te lo estoy diciendo, se llama síndrome del caballero blanco, en su armadura ahí. Porque mira, la mujer se ve para el hombre más atractivo mientras más problemas tiene, porque él dice, mira, no, yo te lo voy a resolver, porque yo soy un hombre, y yo lo voy a hacer eso. Mira, se puede caer del cielo y yo lo voy a sostener por ti. Ahora, pero si un hombre dice, ay, como me dice un compañero aquí, muchos problemas, diga, ay, no, ese hombre, mira, aún arrancado, como le dicen, muchos problemas, no tiene dinero, y a mí me quiere resolverme.
Yo te puedo dar un ejemplo que le pasó a un amigo.
Ajá.
Sin
Y no,
nombres.
no estoy hablando de,
sin
no
nombre,
estoy hablando
sin
de
nombre.
mí,
Sin
por si
nombre.
acaso, no me estoy
nombre.
es un amigo.
Sin nombre, dale.
Resulta que él sale con una chica,
Ajá.
se la lleva a montar en sus vehículos de 4 ruedas, en lodo, se van de resort, disfrutan, van y ven películas, solamente le da un beso. Le dice, sí, él pagó el resort, pagó los vehículos de 4 ruedas con el lodo y demás. Ella le pidió para medicamentos, que el teléfono se le dañó.
Sí, claro, sí, sí.
Y
Por lo mínimo eso, ¿eh?
mínimo, y no hicieron nada. Ella no le dio nada a él,
Ni en lengua.
solamente un beso.
Ay, no.
No, ya eso no cuadra.
No. Tiene que darle, no, tiene que darle mucho más. Lengua y todo completo.
5 meses hablando.
5 meses sin. What?
Y él daba el dinero.
No. No. De verdad.
Sí.
Y el chico, ¿a dónde vive? No me
No,
digas.
sin nombre,
No me
sin
digas
nombre.
aquí.
Él es dominicano. Eso es lo que más me duele.
Pero-
Él está viendo cómo la
Pero,
cultura.
ok, no tiene que decirme el nombre de persona, pero como me parece, él se pone full funde,
529.
pone ropa bien.
Es un tigre, es un hombre que se ve bien. Físicamente se ve un hombre atractivo.
Ok, entonces,
Se viste bien.
¿qué tú crees que pasó? Porque 5 meses, Eso es mucho tiempo. Con un beso nada más.
Y
No,
espera.
tiene que ser. Oye,
Espera al final.
las mujeres tienen problemas. A mí también. Necesita eso. That's it. Es la
¿Cómo se
verdad.
soluciona el problema?
De 5 meses a 6 novio. Y nada más un beso. Tanto.
Y pidiendo dinero.
No.
Mira, resulta que un día ella le dice a él,
Las cosas no son gratis.
no, nada es gratis en esta vida.
Ajá.
Resulta que acontece que ella le dice en una, ¿tienes dinero en tu cuenta de banco? Él tenía, pero yo le había dicho ya, ten cuidado con la chica. Y él se llevó de mi consejo y la puso a prueba. Y le dijo, no tengo dinero. ¿Sabe qué ella le dijo? No, hombre, ¿cómo tú no tienes dinero? Y ella como que, ¿cómo es posible que tú no tengas dinero en la cuenta de banco? Y lo dejó. A la semana, subiendo fotos con otro más.
Mira eso. You see how women are sometimes, bro?
I know.
It's crazy.
Lo usó de banco.
Pero tú sabes que en Estados Unidos casi mismo también porque I've been on dates with women and we're talking Miami. We go out to Chris Ruth and you know things happen. You know, I mean like she wasn't all that because you know she didn't make sure she was good. You know, when it came to taking care of her body, you know, and it wasn't good. But it's the same, for us it's kind of the same thing because women will date you, they want to eat fine dining and this and that with the expectancy of getting busy, right? Now, there's some that go they go on these dates for benefit and they try and play you like, oh no, we're not doing nothing, then what are we doing? Like, I mean, we're not children, you know what I mean? So like, if you feel me and you want to get down with the program, like, let's get to it. Like, we don't have to play around, you know? If you sit down and you tell me you like me, we go on this night date, we enjoy our time. Let's get the nightcap, stop playing. Vamos a tomar un poco.
Straight to the
And
point.
that's it, so it's your point. Pero eso de a jugar con el sentimiento de uno y a salir conmigo, yo me pongo, yo pongo dinero para gastar en tú dije el teléfono, resorts. I'm spending a lot of money on a lot of different things. And you give me just a kiss? No.
Hoy puedo hacerlo.
Perdóname, pero a tragar los hijos. Es la verdad.
Mínimo, por lo menos.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's because there's no way that a woman sees you and she's like, oh, I want to go on a date with that guy, but she only want to tap kiss you, and then that's it. No, if she likes you, and she don't care, like because I mean in this country. I've been on dates where, you know, they're like, is that it? And I'm thinking to myself, well, what are you talking about? Like, is the end of the night, girl? Like we had a nice dinner, we talked, we did an activity. They like, but that's it. And I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, you want to get a drink or something like that? They're like, nah, I need something else. And I'm like, okay. Now I understand. I get it now. But in the United States, it's more like, you need to pay for this, you need to pay for that, and this and that, and this and that. And sometimes, at least your friends, you gotta kiss. Some of these girls, they don't want to do it. They ain't trying to do nothing. And for me, listen, if I'm gonna date you, you gotta be feeling me. If you're not feeling me, I ain't dating you. That's just my new model. That's it.
That's true.
That's it. Because, and let me tell you, I've been on a date recently where we go out, we buy a steak, right? We talking, we vibing. But at the end of the day, she wasn't even feeling me. So it's like, okay, so what's the purpose you going out, right? Because it's not like, it's not like you're gonna drop it.
See you next week.
It's not like gonna drop that thing for me, right? So like, what are we doing? You're gonna sit around and play because you hungry? You want me to feed you?
That's true.
Come on, that's pretty trash. Period. But you know, that's how some women are. That's how some relationships are. Nothing's perfect. So, another question came up. How does technology impact dating? I don't know. For me, right? Tinder, Bumble, I feel like there's no real connection when you date, right? It's just, okay, I like what I see, and I'm gonna try and see if I could talk to you, to go out with you. But I noticed that a lot of people on their profile, they just straight lie.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I want something, and I'll give you an example to that. They'll say that they want something serious, that this and that. They'll put a whole bunch of stuff on their profile, and it's just straight trash, period. Like, recently, someone I spoke to was like, oh, you know, I want something serious. And she stated all the things that she wanted, but at the end, right, we want to date, we're talking on the phone, and then 2 weeks later, she's like, yo, I need $10,000. And I'm like, yo, are you for real? Yo, you for real? Like, you serious, right? Nah, we're not doing that. Hell no. Yo, it's crazy out there. So like, I don't know. I feel like, but there. Don't get me wrong. There are good ones. Like, this is one person that I spoke to, and the conversation was cool, you know. But do you feel like social media is good for dating, or I mean, not social, like social networks such as Tinder and Bumble, or you feel like meeting a girl like the original way, like, you know, you go out, you meet her at a mall or something, or you feel like it's better, you know, for you guys? For me, so from that situation, I ain't doing no more Tinder. That shit is dead. It's not.
No more Tinder.
No more Tinder. No more Tinder. No more Bumble. It's not working. They say they want something, and there's something else. Me, I'm a person that, because I took Psych 101, I want to pay attention to your actions. I want to see your face, your reactions, everything. That's what I want to see. So no more of that. I'd rather meet them face to face. We talk, and then, you know, it goes from there. What is your perception on dating in apps and then meeting people live? Go.
Bueno. Realmente con la experiencia virtual no puedo, bueno, con las apps y eso no puedo hacer mucho énfasis ahí porque realmente no lo he utilizado lo suficiente. Pero es que al final yo lo veo como, bueno, es simplemente hablar. Incluso el problema real yo lo veo ya cuando una persona tiene como que más valor detrás del teléfono que en persona. Porque tú puedes venir, porque al final cuando tú no tienes a la chica al frente, tú puedes venir con el teléfono, mira, el más hombre. Ah, de todo lo van a decir, mira que yo, que esto, que tú y lo otro, cuando yo te vea. Con otra cosa, el dominicano no gusta picante. Mejor hombre, tú mira, te escribe, mira, y dice, ¡pah!
Rápido, así.
Sí. Y al final, cuando llegan allá, igual lo ve, ay, y que mira, pero es que son todo diferente a ti, claro, porque es que él usaba ChatGPT para responder un mensaje.
Sí, exacto. Pero para usted,
Ahora,
¿cuál es más mejor? ¿A conocer una mujer afuera? O si no, por aplicación.
exacto, ahora, exacto, dije ahora, de terminar, ahora,
Dale.
realmente, a mí me gusta más la cosa, a la antigua, porque es que al final, dime, por celular, eso es como tener una relación de distancia. Entonces, eso va a fracasar por todos lados del mundo. Nada va a reemplazar el face to face, yo sentirte y tú sentirme. Eso no lo va a reemplazar nunca. Porque al final tú puedes venir, ver a esa persona, incluso su forma de hablar, cómo habla, los gestos. Porque al cuando lo pareja, tú ves como una persona respira, o si, algo sí, escupir. Una persona que está constantemente escupiendo, eso molesta. Bueno, por lo menos a mí, no, me imagino que todos empezamos
Se ve
igual.
que tú no has ido en China entonces.
No, no decir nada.
Oh, Dios mío.
Por lo menos a mí me molesta eso, la gente dice que escupiendo así mucho. No, ¿por qué? Entonces, eso, tú lo vas a saber cuándo. Cuando tú te sientes con esta persona, tú conversas con ella. Entonces, esas pequeñas cositas, que realmente son pequeñas, tú te das cuenta únicamente de que eso existe. ¿Por qué? Porque tú interactúas con esa persona de forma real.
Bueno, en mi caso, yo sí tengo experiencia con la aplicación. aquí como tú puedes ver, mira, son match.
Tinder,
Mira, mira de
Tinder.
cuántos chat. Son like,
Déjame ver.
I don't like.
We're gonna look.
Tengo más de 40 chats.
So,
Y
that,
tú ves,
40 chats en Tinder, people.
tengo 37 likes.
Wow.
Y con ninguno he conectado. Ninguno he conectado.
I have 350.
Tiene que haber un truco.
Está seco.
Ah,
Sequísimo.
Más de 50 personas.
Eso es otra cosa también, like, see, like, so like, do you feel like women who dress up sexy is someone you feel like you could wind up dating? Like, look at this. Like, that can't be my girlfriend.
No.
Like,
no, pero se da.
con el culo para afuera. No.
Que ese tipo de mujeres, si yo no la cojo en serio.
No, ni yo tampoco.
Porque yo veo que están intentando llamar la atención con su cuerpo. Y están incitando, básicamente, a que no se tomen en serio.
Yo opino que no hay nada de malo en eso.
¿Qué pasa? Que a través de una aplicación tú puedes reírte y de verdad no sentirlo. Tú puedes escribir un sinnúmero de palabras y no sentirlas, pero face to face. Cuando una persona se ríe genuinamente, tú te das cuenta.
Oh, yeah.
Cuando una persona tú le atraes genuinamente, te das cuenta. Como la chica que te miró los labios, te dijo tus labios. ¿Entiendes? Entonces, tú toma en cuenta todo eso. Ahora, si tú estás hablando con ella, tú no le interesa. Si tú lo puedes ver face to face, eso. Pero por teléfono, ya puede estar hasta idiota. Ja, 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 ja. Sí, me agradas.
Con otro tío.
So do you feel like it's hard? Well, here's the first question. Have you ever dated an American woman?
No.
You? You ever dated an American woman? ¿Tú nunca has ido con chica que es americana?
No.
Okay, so do you feel like so when you're talking to a woman, do you feel like it's difficult to have the conversation face to face?
No.
Or you feel like the application, como la aplicación es más mejor?
Yo me siento 100% seguro, 500 veces mejor face to face. Siento que fluyo mejor. Siento que conecto mejor con ella.
Vamos a hablar de esa palabra que se fluye.
Tú sabes, o sea.
Aquí se ha mencionado mucho el término que
término que
están perdidos.
Pero yo conecto con ella mejor. Y yo puedo hacer muchas cosas que en el teléfono no puedo hacer. Como sea, yo puedo indicarle con mi mirada que quiero seguir a la siguiente base. Puedo hacer unos toques juguetones. Puedo hacer que ella se sienta más cómoda. Sienta como que el ambiente está cambiando a algo un poco más caliente, algo un poco más formal. Entonces, cara a cara, no hay nada que lo...
A mí
Lo supere.
Oye, que carne con carne no se puede reemplazar.
Yeah, if it's face to face, like I don't know, I wouldn't say I have more confidence, but like I feel like the interaction face to face is more better when you're having a conversation. Now, I use Tinder a lot. I feel like it's quicker because you could say yes or no faster. But when you're having the conversation, you know whether or not it is you know whether or not you're gonna be able to talk to the woman to be on a date or have something serious after you go face to face. Not in the application, but they can tell you what the hell they feel like it, and then all of a sudden you want to think like, oh, okay, now I know who you are.
Al final la aplicación no es más como, mira, este es mi currículum y lo vamos a hacer con toda la empresa. Basura.
No, y que pueden usar filtros.
Yeah, that's
Pueden
what
poner
I'm
las mejores fotos que tienen,
Yeah.
sin que se vea, o sea, lo real que son las
Bueno,
personas.
mira, ahí eso no es una pregunta, porque mira, a veces usted anda con miedo ahora porque realmente el maquillaje ha avanzado mucho.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Es verdad.
El maquillaje ha avanzado mucho.
Makeup.
Ya tuve una mujer maquillada y una sin maquillaje, no son la misma persona, no son la misma persona, para nada.
And I wake up like this, so I'm expecting that, you know what I'm saying, when I look at her, that, you get the point. So, all right. Another question came up, and I find this one is like really important because this one really sets the tone. How important is physical attraction in a relationship in each culture? Now, for me, that all depends, right? Because we all have likes and dislikes,
That is correct.
right? So, I don't know. Like, I don't like light skin women, right? I'll date a light skin woman if everything else aligns correctly. If you're intelligent, if you know how to speak well, if you know you have the qualities that I require. So yes and no, right? Because if she's light skinned but she has everything else, I'm attracted to first of all, I'm attracted to anyone who has intelligence, period. If you're smart, I'm attracted to that immediately. Because I can't sit down and have a conversation with someone who does not have a brain. How do we talk about politics? How do we talk about our daily lives? How do we talk about anything in the world and you don't even know like what's going on in the world and we're not there, you know, when it comes intellectually. So I get stimulated over the intellectual. Now, if it's my preference, I need the Coca-Cola bottle, right? And you know, she needs to be dark skinned. Now, how important is that? As I said, it all depends on those factors. Now, but if I can get everything that I want from the light skin one and the dark skin one, yeah, I'm gonna choose the dark skin one. You know what I'm saying? Especially if she got everything I need, like we good to go. But is it that important? No. Because I've dated a lot of different type of women. And you know what? Some were baddies. And then there was some that was just normal. But the ones that were normal, I wound up having a better connection with them because we talked about things where we were real with each other, we were honest with each other, we discussed, you know, politics, we discussed church, we discussed home life, like what a family dynamic is important. You know, let's say if kids come into play, how do you want to raise the children? Those things are important. And if we align correctly, it doesn't, like, she don't gotta look all that. She has to have everything else. But if I look at something like that, it's gonna trigger me. Yo va a tener un ánimo para ella. Like, oh yeah, that was great. But is it the all or nothing? No. Because I've dated some girls, right? I've dated girls who were not so slim. And for me, character is everything. With no character, with no brain, I'm not good. What do you think?
Así mismo es realmente. Bueno,
Y ya, ya.
aparte, como ellos abundé más en la primera pregunta sobre el carácter y eso, vamos a hablar entonces más ahora de lo físico,
Right.
realmente. Es que es importante, porque al final las relaciones carnales son lo que une a la pareja. Una pareja que no tiene relación carnal, fracasa. Por otro lado, no hay forma. Ya, si bien amigos, básicamente, para eso mejor somos amigos. Vivimos juntos, pero somos amigos, pero no somos pareja.
Ya.
Eso es importante, porque es que si no, ¿qué somos? ¿Los amigos íntimos de confianza? No. Y entonces, ¿y eso dónde viene? Porque tú sabes ella, te digo, oye, mira, verte me gusta. Con ropa, sin ropa, con maquillaje, sin maquillaje, pero me encanta verte. Y verte me enchila. Porque te tocas más, pero sí, básicamente eso. Porque es que al final existimos única y solamente para reproducirnos. Y ya. Y después morir. Es solamente para eso. Por ejemplo, cuando la gente dice, ay no, que tú eres un adicto al sexo, que eso es lo único que te interesa. Bueno, que eso al sexo no existe. Tú estás vivo, yo, él también, ¿para qué? Para machacar. Simplemente para eso. Después todo lo otro es un extra en la vida. Así que las relaciones íntimas están aquí. Sin esto, todo lo demás de personalidad, que esto y que lo otro, ella puede cumplirlo todo. Por ese final a ti, dice que bueno, mira, yo realmente, mira, yo hice un voto de celibato cuando tenía 25 años y yo realmente no voy a tener relaciones contigo. Pues, mira, tú cumples todo. Lo cumples todo, pero lamentablemente no podemos ser pareja. Podemos ser amigos, pero no pareja. Aunque cumple todos los requisitos, pero es que sin este,
Yeah.
no nada.
And that, you know what? It's funny because like, so the girl that I was talking about, I wanted to see if it was real. You know what I did? Yo quería saber si es la verdad que ella me quería diferenciar. ¿Tú sabes lo que es? Yo digo a ella que después de mi trabajo.
Uy, la mejor prueba.
Después de 3 días, la tipa me suelta. ¿Qué eso significa?
Chapeadora.
Tú vas a preguntarme por $1,000 y después tú vas a decirme que, oh, yo no sabía cómo me puedo ayudarte. And then you want to live with me. Sorry, it's your loss, right? Because now she's finding out who it really is. That's her problem.
Porque así como en ese caso, también hay otros casos que son personas más agraciadas, gracias a Dios. Por ejemplo, el chico, no sé si conoces ese juego de Stardew Valley, que conoce básicamente es un juego de granja y eso. La mujer lo mantuvo a él durante 4 años, mientras él hacía el proyecto. Todo, mira, esa gente pasaron hambre de todo. Y ella tenía como 3 trabajos, 4 o 5 para mantenerlo a él y a ella, mientras él desarrollaba ese proyecto. Sí, durante 4 años seguidos. Pasaron mucha penuria, casi lo botan de la casa y todo eso, pero al final el proyecto vino, terminó, triunfó y ahora son millonarios.
Wow.
Y ella siempre creyó en él. Durante 4 años seguidos, teniendo múltiples trabajos.
That's a lot. ¿Y tú?
Tengo una, o sea, te voy a hacer una pregunta después de mi respuesta.
Ajá, dale.
Para todos.
Ajá.
Oye,
O sea,
está peligroso eso.
Poniendo en peso lo físico y lo intelectual, yo me voy al intelectual.
¿Por qué?
Como dije al principio, el físico se deteriora con el tiempo, pero lo intelectual permanece. Imagínate tener,
A ver.
qué sé yo, 70 años con tu pareja y que no puedas decir nada a tu pareja, sentados los dos viejos ahí. Solamente puedes mirarla. Ya no tienes booty.
De que vamos a hablar, vamos a abrir un tienda.
Claro, porque no es por nada, pues tú con una
funciona.
persona con 70 años, una mujer que sabe chismear de los vecinos, está fuerte.
No funciona, o sea, y aún así, ponlo a menor edad, 20 años, 30, 40, o sea, tú quieres a alguien con el cual tú te puedas expresar, puedas tener una conversación que te entretenga. De lo contrario, si la chica se ve bien y no tiene un buen intelecto, la vas a engañar. Tarde o temprano va a aparecer alguien que sí va a tener un buen intelecto, sí va a tener un buen cuerpo y te va a encantar más.
Es la verdad.
No, pero
Entonces,
ya, eso es todo, no es difícil.
lo que pasa es que las personas se acostumbran a la monotonía.
That's right.
Hay personas,
Bueno,
hay
eso es
personas
otra
que no
cosa.
se sienten cómodos con su pareja, pero están con ellos porque se acostumbraron a verlo todos los días, a estar con ellos todos los días. Y aún conocen a alguien mejor y no son capaces de dejar a su pareja porque tienen ese miedo de salirse de la monotonía. Entonces, al final mi decisión es lo intelectual, 100%. Ahora, dentro de lo que él dijo,
Ajá.
me surgió una curiosidad de saber, ¿ustedes se atreverían a mantener a una mujer toda su vida?
Bueno,
Depende del clase de mujer. ¿Es mi novia o es mi esposa?
Vamos a ponerlo como novia y esposa, las dos.
Okay. La novia, si nosotros estamos.
Antes de eso, haz una pequeña recapitulación en el chat, tú sabes.
So if I'm just getting to know her, your responsibilities are yours, right? Because we're just getting to know each other. And I'm not gonna allow you to take advantage of me. So it's not gonna happen. But let's just say that we've been having a relationship for like 3 months. Tell me, hey, listen, esta mis pagos, mis cuentas, lo que sea. Okay, cool. I'm paying, right? Because you're my girl. I'm not doing it for my life, right? Because what happens if we break up? But you know, here and there, right? I think that's fair. If you're gonna be my girlfriend. But now if you're gonna be my wife, then I feel like it's different. Because it's not like we're girlfriend and boyfriend, you'll know me for a little while. It's like we together for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, like you're my wife. So I feel like as a man, it's as a man's responsibility. At least that's how I feel. I'm gonna take the responsibility. Now, let's say if I'm not comfortable in my finances that I can do that, I'll be like, listen, this is what I can take care of. Meet me halfway, right? Because you have to be realistic in certain relationships. Not everybody could make the same thing, right? Let's say you make $1,000 a month, but your girlfriend makes like $500 a month. Okay, so what are her bills? You know, then all of a sudden, both you guys are in a dynamic where there's friction because a lot of times, if the woman's not making enough, she's expecting them to look out for her, right? So it's like, I don't know about all that. Girlfriend, here and there, right? Wife, yeah, I'm gonna take care of her. If I have it like that, fortunately I do, and I have no problems, I'm comfortable with my finances, but let's say for guys who don't, and they're getting to know these women, it's their responsibility. Everyone is responsible for themselves until you get into a real relationship that's your woman. That's a different story. Then it's like, okay, it's expected, you know? But that's just how I feel about it.
En ese caso, o sea, yo comparto lo que tú dices en el sentido de que siempre y cuando tú puedas, no hay problema. Porque como dije anteriormente, uno está hecho para ser proveedor. O sea, nosotros los hombres somos los que siempre estamos dando la tabla ahí.
Cada 5 minutos.
¿Tú me entiendes?
No.
Damos tabla con el dinero y tabla también con eso. Entonces, pero ya si yo no puedo, como tú dices, es mi parte la que yo puedo hacer. Ahora, como pareja que somos un equipo, te corresponde hacer tu parte.
Claro, porque es que al final del día, ya el siglo XX pasó. Ya de que un hombre, porque mira, por ejemplo, yo tengo seguro que ustedes mismos, su papá, no, mira, que yo la de ustedes, tenía yo casa, carro, 3 muchachos, lo mantenía sin ningún problema. Aquí yo tengo 24, yo no tengo casa, yo no tengo carro.
Y tú eres joven.
No tengo hijos.
Eso yo entiendo. Pero vamos a decir que, okay, and that's a good point because you're young and it's different. Pero vamos a decir que tú tienes como 35 años. Ahora, ¿cómo tú piensas? De un novia y una esposa. Dime la diferencia para usted. ¿Qué tú vas a hacer?
Oh, ahí la cosa está complicada porque al final la novia no es como que un compromiso total contigo. De que mira, okay, de que mira, es que tú eres mi pareja, bro. Tú estás ahí, yo estoy aquí, muy posiblemente ni siquiera vivamos juntos. Que realmente esa es la prueba definitiva para cualquier pareja vivir juntos. Porque aunque tú te hayas quedado un mes con ella en un sitio, no importa. Cuando vivan juntos, todo un año por lo menos, ahí que tú vas a ver, que tú le soportes todas sus maramañas, sus rabietas, tú la despertas al otro día y parezca un genio del demonio, etcétera. Ahí que tú realmente vas a ver que tú vas a poder convivir con esa persona y todo eso. Pero no. Pero sí, al final, no quiero decir lo feo, pero al final uno que sería como que prescindible. No es algo por lo que tú tendrías que sacrificarte.
Pero tú sabes,
Ahora,
o sea, perdón que te interrumpa, pero o sea, desde el punto de vista que tú tienes 35 años, O sea, tú buscas más una pareja con quien crear un hogar.
Sí, por eso mismo yo ahora.
Ya tú no eres joven, ya tú no andas saltando de mujer en mujer. Tú sabes que tú tienes un periodo de tiempo en el cual tú puedes tener hijos.
That's right.
Y, o sea, básicamente sacrificarte tú. Y ahora, tú con 35 y buscando, o sea, no queriendo formar un hogar, eso que tú no quieres hijos.
No.
O sea, tu punto de vista en esta vida es voy a disfrutar hasta mi muerte y ya.
Es que mire, el público tiene que entender algo aquí, mire. Cada niño es un préstamo con muchos intereses que no va a retornar nunca. Ese dinero nunca va a venir para atrás. No lo espere. Nunca.
Sería nuevo lo para atrás.
So, another question came up.
Ahora, espérate, paréntesis.
Dale.
Si tú eres una persona enferma que tiene diabetes o problemas cardíacos, algo así, tenga por lo menos 2 o 3 muchachos, o si bebe mucho también, porque al final usted va a necesitar algún órgano. Y no va a haber nadie mejor compatible que él. Así que tiene que tener por lo menos 2 o 3.
Reserva de órganos, ¿no?
Claro, que no va a cumplir porque para que lo está criando.
Te van a cancelar por eso. Pero, o sea, biológicamente, se supone que nosotros tenemos hijos como un seguro de vida. ¿Sabía eso? Que eso es parte de nuestro mecanismo biológico.
Mhm.
O sea, como que cuando yo me vuelva viejo, ¿quién me va a cuidar?
That's right.
O sea, ¿quién se va a encargar de que la herencia familiar siga?
That is right.
¿Quién va a cuidar el negocio? Entonces,
Leaving a legacy behind. That's right.
exacto. O sea, de forma biológica nosotros estamos preparados para tener a alguien más que nos corresponda al momento de que nosotros ya no podamos avanzar más.
So with that said, what advice would you give? And before you even get there, how do you feel about American men coming down to this country and dating your women? Do you feel like that they're disrespectful? Do you feel like it's not right? What do you feel about it?
No, eso está bien porque si yo voy para allá, yo también quiero salir con la mujer americana y no me pueden criticar por eso.
Exacto.
Claro, así que mira, puede ser un problema. Ahora, yo lo que me dan pena finalmente porque tú sabes que son muy comunes, como ya hicimos ahorita, los casos champeadoras. Y yo solamente lo veo a algunos como pobre víctima, algunos, porque no todos son así. Yo lo como pobre víctima.
So what advice would you guys give me if I were to go and date a Dominican? What are the 5 important things I should know?
Las 5 cosas más importantes
Ajá, para
al momento de salir con una dominicana.
Ajá.
A la pusiste difícil.
No es difícil. Es fácil porque hay muchas cosas.
No, porque me
O sea, pero hablando de dominicana como tal,
Sí, de mujer dominicana.
yo te diría que
That's,
tendría que...
that's another thing too. I'm 47. Do you think I should find a woman my age or younger?
O sea,
Depende de lo que estás buscando.
en tu caso,
No,
como
no.
tú tienes un estatus social económico
Sí.
mucho mayor que cualquier otra persona de tu edad, tú puedes salir con quien tú quieras, ya sea de 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
15.
Tú tienes una amplia variedad de mujeres que están dispuestas a salir contigo. Porque aquí le dan mucha importancia a lo económico.
¿Y en dólares?
O sea, así como nosotros le damos importancia a lo intelectual por encima de lo físico, y dan importancia a lo económico por encima de lo físico. No importa si tú eres la persona más linda del mundo, van a ver lo económico.
Okay.
Entonces, yo diría que un consejo importante es que trate de identificar de si es una chapeadora o realmente tú le interesa. O sea, que estés pendiente de su actitud a lo que es tu dinero. El cómo se maneja, no te pida $10,000. Que no te pida $10,000 a las 2 semanas.
That's right.
Esa es una.
Segundo,
La otra es-
para que vamos a ayudarte, que estoy trabajando ahí. Segundo, importante, que este realmente es un consejo general, pero es también importante porque sea real. Mira, al hombre dominicano le encanta montar películas, hacer películas con su vida. Mira, él es lo mejor, él es lo máximo. Y lo peor es, Para no englobar a toditas, las mujeres, vamos a las mujeres básicas, para no englobar a todas. Que está mal eso, las mujeres básicas, para no decir en general. Se caen en ese cuento porque no es verdad, tú todo eso después, que un motoconcho a ti te va a mudar a un residencial. Eso no existe. Entonces, mira, lo importante es ser tú mismo, ser real. Porque si esa persona al final se interesa en ti, tú siendo como tú eres todos los días, el día que tú vengas, tú quieras salir con ella te va a aceptar. Porque te estuvo aguantando todo ese tiempo ya, desde atrás. Ya mostró un interés. Desde que ella habló contigo, ya interesa ahí. Sea un chinchín o sea mucho. Desde toda la cita, habla contigo, el Instagram por lo menos, es que hay un mínimo de interés ahí. Ella está abierta a conocerte por lo menos. Y si usted fue real desde el principio, nada va a cambiar después. Porque lo duro viene cuando tú eres una persona, qué sé yo, que igual tú no tenías mucho dinero, pero tú dabas fama que sí. Cuando tú llevas a un sitio, tú lo pagabas todo pago. Después ya viene y sale contigo. A la semana se da cuenta de que realmente eso fue un engaño. De que tú puedes ser gringo, pero al final tú sabes que el dinero no es ilimitado. Punta Cana no es República Dominicana entero. Va a haber que retroceder. Y o se cuenta de que esa vida básicamente fue una mentira, pues la relación se va a ir a pique porque fue construida en base a mentiras al principio. Nunca fue real, nada. Entonces, es un consejo muy general, pero también importante, que es fundamental. Sea usted mismo, no cambie, aunque tus amigos digan que sí, de que ay, no te lleves de eso. Porque al final, el tiro le va a salir por atrás, es a usted, no a ellos. Ellos se van a reír de usted. Dale el tercero por ahí.
Pues son 5 entonces. Dijimos que él dice que sea auténtico. Yo digo que no te pida $10,000 a 2 semanas. Que no se ponga en tu dinero. Que sea auténtica. O sea, todo sea auténtico con ella. La otra cosa sería su historial. Aquí llamamos a lo que le decimos depurar a la persona. ¿Sabes cómo hacen los bancos, las instituciones, que son un credit check? Checan tu crédito. Nosotros chequeamos a las mujeres. Es como que voy a salir con Pamela, mi grupo de amigos. Díganme, ¿qué saben de Pamela?
Oh, de verdad.
Sí, ahí te dicen. Mira, Pamela estuvo con Juan, estuvo con Pedro, estuvo con José, estuvo con Matías. Ya tú sabes que Pamela tiene un largo recorrido.
Uy.
Ya tú sabes el background que ella tiene. Exacto. Sabiendo el recorrido que ella tiene, tú sabes por dónde va la cosa, si va a ser algo serio o va a ser algo simplemente casual. Ese sería otro consejo, o sea, saber su historial.
Okay. Last but not least. You know what? I was gonna take a question about from the group.
What?
Did you have something from the group?
¿Verdad, Echa? No te pregunto, Echa.
We're taking
I know
questions.
the chat was it's been answered. They want to know what is like digging the DR, and yeah. And the other thing I didn't know that when you stream, this was on the phone you can actually shift, but on TV.
I did not know.
I had no clue, so
I'm
know-
sorry for TV people.
I told them for next time. I want to make sure. Next time we're gonna use StreamYard. The thing about StreamYard, you can have guests join in. It can be interactive. So StreamYard, yeah, they join in and you start asking questions. So next Friday we're gonna do it like this, so they can actually hop on panel, and each of us we're talking with them on they ask you a question, yeah, interacting, So then that way we get more interaction. People ask questions directly, and then next time we're gonna try to have to integrate local girls. So that's more interesting because when there are, it's more interactive to actually get the point of view. So it's gonna be more like a bigger debate.
I only hear.
Oh yeah, I mean you're gonna be like, no, that's not this, so you can to really feel the culture. Yeah, this was like the first trial, but so far it went well. But next time we're gonna do it like, yeah. We're gonna have, it's gonna be like interactive, get like, you know what we should do? Yeah, then we talk about the background, yeah.
Hello, boys.
Yeah.
Ahí también es mucho.
I don't know. I think that's it for now because the group already asked all the questions.
Yeah,
right?
all the question,
About
yeah.
dating with the women.
So guys, next Friday,
Gentlemen, next Friday, we're gonna have some more conversations. Tune in. And if you got any questions or anything you want to know from these guys right over here, just let us know. Other than that, we out.
Otra invitada entonces, el próximo viernes.
That's it. Cut it.